Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to MNW Firing Line, your guide to Multiverse Nexus Wrestling. I'm your host, Jerry Aldini, and with me, returning from sabbatical, Pete McPherson. Pete McPherson.
Hello.
Hi, Pete. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Good to have you back.
Good to be back.
And with that, I mean, you know, lots happened. A lot's been going on, and we are in some strange waters, my friend.
Strange time.
And so let's. So before we get into it, and you want to catch us up? Anything interesting been going on while you've been having some time off?
Trying to think. Nah, I don't think so.
All right.
I mean, my house is incredibly clean now. Let me tell you.
Oh well, I mean that's fair. That's good. I've we've had two incursions in the booth by Doom while you were gone.
Huh. Neat.
So, there was that. I mean, one where we well, it wasn't in booth, but we had all three of them on the phone at once last week.
Ooh.
I
decided I was going to name my my Roomba a Goomba. So you've heard of Elf on the Shelf, but have you heard of Goomba on a Roomba?
I have not, but now that will haunt my dreams. All right. So, let's go ahead and let's get into the adventure that was the last week in Multiverse Nexus Wrestling. So as everyone who has been following should know, for the last couple of weeks, MNW Warzone has been on hiatus while there has been some retooling and possibly some repair work.
Yeah, there might be a few missing walls, floors, ring.
I mean, we lost Joe Mojo for a week due to an inopportune multiversal portal placement. So I can only imagine what happens to ringware. But
yep.
Yeah. So this episode will focus solely on the pay-per-view from Easter Sunday, Breakdown 6, the latest Flashbang specific pay-per-view. And it is worth noting that with Breakdown 6 in the books, we are now, at least for Friday Night Flashbang, on the road to Multivania. And
oh boy
indeed, it is it's one of those it's hard to believe. I mean, Pete, you remember last year, it feels like we just had Multivania in so many ways, and yet here it is again.
In a few ways, definitely.
And with that, let's go ahead and let's kick it off with the way that so many breakdowns kick off, with a very special showcase. And this showcase starts off with a regular in the cases, Alexis Edmonton, Zephyr Tail of Apex, El Pollo de la Muerte, the leader of AAA, the Cyber Controller whose only loss has ever been in a showcase match, the leader of the Rebel Star, Aurelian Starhand, the investigator of Friday Night Flashbang, the Omni Geek, the leader of the cartel, Victor Vicious, and the return of Flashbang's general manager, Mr. Rabbit. Well, not as general manager.
And he's shiny.
Yeah, not as general manager, but as an in-ring competitor. And yes, very shiny. He mentioned something about having spent time in the cosmos.
So that's Cosmic Rabbit.
Yeah, basically. Makes you think he should have been sharing a ring with Brawl Kaiser if you really think about it. But yeah, this is, I guess, Cosmic Rabbit. Sure, why not? Let's go with that.
Why not?
But the first elimination in the match came pretty quickly after the ref had to do a lot of cardio due to many near falls. The first official elimination was the Cyber Controller taking out Zephyr Tail. And then very quickly after that was El Pollo de la Muerte putting the chicken wing on the Omni Geek. And then very shortly after that, after a particularly vicious beating from the general manager, Hey Mr. Rabbit, the Hell Ride put on Aurelian Starhand, and Starhand's eliminated. Now, so in, I would say, less than a minute, 3 of the competitors are just out of there.
That's the power of the rabbit.
Yeah, I mean, mighty is the rabbit. And then, getting back into the in-ring action a bit later, once we're down to 5, I would say one of the big shockers of the match was Alexis Edmonton eliminating El Pollo de la Muerte. With that, and then, of course, not to be outdone, the Cyber Controller hitting a delete on Victor Vicious and eliminating the leader of the cartel.
And then there were 3.
Then there were 3. I mean, this, even though it was, I would say, a regular length showcase match, when action happened, it happened fast and furious. And it's worth noting that earlier I had mentioned the Cyber Controller has only ever faced a loss in showcase. In his singles matches, he always wins. Also, but on the other hand, he comes back to face our cosmically empowered former general manager, who gets him into a Hell Ride and taps out the Cyber Controller. That Hell's Ride was getting quite the workout.
It's a very vicious move.
It is. It's well named, and it just feels like Mr. Rabbit came back after everything that had happened to him with that brutal assault by Kevin Blackwell, and even the pressures and issues of having been suspended as the general manager. The time away and the time I'm going to take him for his word. He was in the Cosmos. That it served him well, and one more Hell's Ride for the mercenary, and as we see here, she actually doesn't fall. The first person to not fall to the Hell's Ride, but so exhausted after the experience that Mr. Rabbit was able to win a pinfall victory. And thus,
heck of a return for Mr. Rabbit.
It absolutely is. He came back. He showed great power, great ability, and showed that we have a rabbit re-energized.
Cosmically, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, really? Okay. That's what he was telling Eric. That he spent time in the Cosmos.
As long as Galactus doesn't come after him, I think we're good.
Yeah. Ooh, boy. Now that's going to haunt my dreams. One more thing to haunt my dreams.
Mr. Rabbit, Herald of Galactus.
Wow. Also, apparently, the Cosmos does not have any kind of cable hookup because Mr. Rabbit had to be caught up on the happenings in Flashbang since he left. He didn't know about anything going on with Wily. He didn't know Earl King West won the Interdimensional Championship. He didn't know who the recent tag competitors were. He didn't know about the issues with Omni Geeks investigations. He had to be caught up on a lot.
A lot happened.
A lot happened, yeah. And I think, although as we're hearing from the social media crowd, Mr. Rabbit returning on Easter was apropos.
Indeed.
It was an Easter miracle.
Of course.
And with that, so the next match we're going to get into, there was it was definitely a grudge match. Definitely a grudge match. And that match was Scott E. Stevens, the man who actually the brass appointed to be your substitute during your sabbatical. So who I've been working with for the last 2 weeks here in commentary. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. It just walked into the booth right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of Friday Night Flashbang, Mr. Eric Genericson.
Hi, how's it going? Sorry I was late. My bad.
That's fine. We've only covered the showcase match.
Oh, good. Yay, Mr. Rabbit!
And although Pete brings up a scary point, are we sure that time he spent in the cosmos, he didn't become the new Herald of Galactus?
You know, why do you ruin everything, Pete?
Oh, I had to do something when I came back.
So anyway,
I hadn't considered the possibility.
I mean, he does seem empowered. There was a
right, but there's levels to it, right?
You hope, but that Hell's Ride was just devastating. So.
Woo! Tapped out 2 people,
and
made a 3rd one pass out.
Pretty much, yeah. It was an impressive return, and I'm sure you felt great having somebody at your side on the commentary.
There's been so many weird things going on. It's nice to have my friend back.
That's great. I mean,
and hopefully soon we can get him back to where he belongs, and that's being the GM of Flashbang.
That is also a great point. And since you bring that up, the next match we're going to be looking at is the match featuring the person who got him removed from that position.
Oh, great.
Scott E. Stevens.
Timing.
Yeah, he has been working his way through Apex. But
can we skip this one? Because I already know how this is going to happen. We're going to watch this match.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to watch these highlights.
Right.
He's going to call up on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to brag about how he freaking won the match clean as a whistle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call him out on his hypocrisy, and then you're going to have to stop us because I'm embarrassing him too much.
I mean,
I'm just tired of this.
But actually,
Mr. Genericson, are you a psychic?
Boy, howdy gee whiz. It's like he's a one-note villain.
Well, actually, Eric, before we get into that match, there was something that happened right before it that I think we need to take a look at.
It pleases me to be able to tell you that we have finally found a ship to join the Speedwell on our long-desired voyage to America. Amen. She is the Mayflower of London, commanded by Captain Christopher Jones, who is making the arrangements, Elder Brewster. Mr. Martin, who represents over 70 backers of our venture. I know that Mr. Martin can be a difficult man.
Difficult is a mild description of that hog-jowled pirate that I would use.
No matter. The die is cast. And with whatever doubts and fears we might harbor in our souls, we sail in 3 days upon the Mayflower of London. May God bless you all, and may you find peace in his strength. Amen.
Oh, good. I'm glad that wasn't creepy or anything.
So with that, let's go ahead and look at the match that happened right after that. I mean, we've been getting a lot of those videos of late. And in fact, we even got a phone call here on Firing Line that seemed to be related to one of those. So anyway, the match. which of course face Labras, the one member that Scott has faced of Apex that he has not been able to beat.
There's actually 3 that he hasn't beaten.
Well, yeah, but he hasn't been in the ring with those other 2, I don't believe.
Yeah, that's because he knows better.
Yeah. And this was an interesting choice on Steven's part to immediately just step outside the ring. I suppose there was a mind game strategy here.
Yeah, it didn't work though. I mean, Labras dominated this match. I mean, there were opportunities for Scott where he tried to take the momentum, but Labras, once again for the 3rd time, beat him pillar to post in this match. Like, he tossed him around outside. He tossed him around inside. They'd go back outside. It's just, this is not a good matchup for Scott for whatever reason. It seems like in MNW, they're going to like, for example, Ginger Boy and Kevin Blackwell. It's just not a good matchup for the Gladiator. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, as you were saying, this is the 3rd time. Would you say, though, that there has been an improvement each time?
I thought that there was going to be, but I actually thought his second match against Labras was a lot more competitive than this. Like, I don't know what new technique he thought he was figuring out, but it did not work. And this is what I mean. He's in control for a little bit, but Labras, he did his homework. He came back. He knew that Scott was a legit threat. And now even, look, I haven't seen Labras pull out an armbar before. Like, that was new.
Yeah, it doesn't take me as much of the submission type.
No. And then here we go. I'll let you take it from here, Jerry.
Well, the ref needed to take a moment to check on
to see if Scott could even continue. He was beat so badly.
And then this music hit. And it was like, well, okay, we weren't familiar with it. And Labras seemed very upset. It just that anyone was there. And then this happened. Jack Andrews appeared for the first time in I don't know how long. Sporting a new look. And
yeah.
And I don't know what's going on with the ref because something must have been happening on stage that had the ref's attention.
He was still waiting for somebody to come down the ramp, and it just did not happen. And then it waited for him to do this Tully Blanchard slingshot suplex, and then he decides to turn around and go, oh, wait, there's somebody else in the ring. Get out of here, buddy.
That sure was a loud noise back there.
And it was at this point where I realized Labras is out. That bat knocked him out.
Yeah, and then there's Scott, and, it's like, sure, oh, hey, now's my perfect
Scott just picks him up. He picks up a lifeless body, and then there you go. And so now he'll talk about how well that match went for him and how it was great and how he didn't see it. Like, this is ridiculous. This is absurd. And I don't even blame Jack Andrews. Like, I get it. I would want revenge too. What Zephyr Tail did to him was unacceptable. It's just the fact that he chose to do it and help Scott, or that Scott in any way benefited. It's just disgusting.
Well,
because in my eyes, he still has not proven that he could actually beat Labras clean.
All right. Well, as per your prediction, Eric, on the phone now.
Phone up. I'll sit over here. I can't. We'll be here all day.
All right. Fair enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, on the phone with us now is the winner of the match we just went over, the gentleman of MNW, Scott E. Stevens.
So I've been inundated with phone calls and text messages and emails and these and those asking me about Jack Andrews and, what I knew and, what he had to do with my match. And honestly, up until about 2 minutes ago, I had no idea that Jack Andrews had shown up, much less that he interfered in my match. All right. So before anybody, Eric, tries to accuse me of, colluding with my great friend Jack Andrews in helping me secure a victory, I'm putting the kibosh on that right now. I have had no contact with Jack. The last time I saw him was days before he disappeared from his hotel room, from his hospital room, and I have not heard anything from him since.
How convenient!
And God, I had no idea that he was going to be there. I had no idea that he was there. I was rattled. All right, you saw that neck breaker I took.
It wasn't just a neck breaker you took.
Well, the ref needed to check on me after that neck breaker, and honestly, most of the rest is kind of a blur. I'm pretty sure I have a concussion.
So so we're clear, so we're crystal clear. You're officially telling us that until you watched that recap clip right here on Firing Line, that you had no idea that Jack Andrews had entered the ring and attacked Labris.
That is precisely what I'm saying.
Then how did Labris go from dropping you to being on the ground for you to conveniently pick up? Just explain that to me.
Have you ever experienced a concussion, Eric? Much less.
No, I can't say that I have.
Okay, then you don't know what it's like. You don't know how disorienting it can be, how confusing it could be. There are wrestlers who get a concussion in the middle of a match and then finish the match and then have no recollection of them finishing the match. Mm-hmm. All right? I barely remember anything that happened after my head bounced off the mat from that neck breaker. All right?
So riddle me this. You challenged Labris to come down without Apex, and he did. And then all of a sudden, Jack Andrews comes out of nowhere and screws him. You can easily see why people would connect the dots on that, don't you?
I know you all the time you try to find reasons to antagonize me and reasons to cry foul whenever I win a match. And I'm not going to say that I won the match fair and square on my own without any assistance. But I did not solicit that assistance, all right? I'm not going to deny that Jack Andrews came in and took liberties behind the ref's back. And I'm not going to deny that I ended up taking advantage of the opportunity, hitting Labris with a class act and pinning him for the 3 count. But number one, I had absolutely no idea that was going to happen. And number two, at the end of the day, all that matters is that I pinned Labris. 1, 2, 3.
What?
I'm done. I'm validated. I'm vindicated. I am moving on.
All right.
No, you're not. You can't beat Labris, and you know it.
I did beat Labris.
So on social media,
Scott E. Stevens defeated Labris via pinfall. End of discussion.
Well, all I'm going to say...
Go ahead and hand draw that little asterisk in there if you want, Eric. But the record stands. I won.
Okay, one more time. On social media, I'm getting a message from #1 Flashbang fan and a man who thinks you're a bikini model, Maximilian Thunderthighs.
Former.
Who says that I call bull honky on that, Scott. You're the type to go back and watch your own matches just to feel good about the victory. You would have seen Jack.
Fine, say that all you want. I didn't. I've been recovering from, like I said, a concussion, so I've been keeping my screen watching to an absolute minimum.
For somebody who just learned about what move he used, you certainly remembered it real quick.
I told you I remembered. Yeah, I remember things that happened before I got the concussion, Pete.
All right. Well, Scott, then do you have anything else to add? Okay, I'm going to, I'm going to change the subject a bit. You've, on the records, it shows that you, in fact, have been victorious over Labris.
Yes.
What's next?
His big brother.
All right. Well, I guess we'll cover that when we get to his match later in the show. Thank you very much, Scott, and we'll, I'm sure, talk to you again in the near future.
All right.
Okay. Are you okay there, Eric?
Boy, I'm glad I'm back.
Yeah, I am too. If nothing else, the show will go much smoother without the stuff. Let's move on. So Eric, I think you're going to be happier with this next match, although you had a lot to say during it when it happened live, and that is last week, Dr. Caliban made a what is now a rare in-ring appearance, pointing out that it seems that whenever anyone wants to make a statement or flex on the Flashbang locker room, their go-to is to attack a member of House Caliban. With that, Dr. Caliban issued an open challenge to anyone in the to face House Caliban with, he put no restrictions, any stipulations, and as has become their habit, Vaporwave was the first to jump up and go, we'll take that challenge. So Vaporwave initially had called out the Time Bandits for a tag match, but right before the show went live, we heard the news that yet again the Sandman had been attacked backstage. And so the House Caliban responded by sending out Thunderbolt to be joined by his brother, the Creation, to face Aqualung and Apollo Hades of Vaporwave, and the surprise entrance of Nakama Worldwide, represented by Power Surge and Bart Ender.
Welp.
I think it's important to note that there was not a trash man in attendance at this.
No, there wasn't.
There wasn't, and makes you
At
wonder.
least not on screen.
Yeah, who actually attacked Sandman?
Was it those two? Was it him? Was it Death Charge?
Was
it even Nakama Worldwide?
OmniGeek,
we need your help.
I just want to point out, when I say that the House Caliban has been attacked, and they have been attacked as a group, but every single time, the Sandman has been the brunt of the attacks. Be it
it's like they know, because they don't want to jump the big man, and they don't want to jump Thunderbolt for some reason. Sandman seems to be like the mouth of the Time Bandit, the mouth of House Caliban outside of Dr. Caliban. You talk shit, you get hit.
What I'd say there is that it like you said, it's a strategic thing where you are removing more players from the equation, even if it's just with one single person, because that one person has a wider effect.
Also, who's dumb enough to jump the Creation?
Well, I mean, Victor Vicious did once, but I'm pretty sure he got him from behind.
And Bart Ender did once, and that didn't go well.
No,
so I think they learned you went after the wrong guy.
And yet Bart decided, let's go face him again.
Match is a little different. There's at least rules in a match.
Yeah. And notice Bart Ender is not going after the Creation even here, though.
They started off going after each other, or should I say the boot being put to the face of Bart Ender.
Yeah.
But they tangled a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I had it on good authority. Bart wanted to get his hands on the Creation during Faction Warfare and didn't have that opportunity. Maybe they were forcing it.
Well, certainly getting it right here now. Again, the Creation, Bart maybe wasn't looking directly for the Creation, but the Creation was looking for Bart.
Yep, he might have heard those same rumors.
And then here, this was an interesting moment. So Thunderbolt gets the money of your life on Apollo Hades. Power Surge tries to attack Aqualung to prevent the break and then break himself, but he miscalculated and didn't actually get there in time.
I mean, they call it high risk for a reason, and he couldn't crawl over and break up that pin as a result.
No. And so Thunderbolt secures the victory for House Caliban. This also marks the first time the brothers Caliban have joined forces as a tag team.
It's true.
Actually does make... So, obviously, you've got the Time Bandits as a team, and we've seen all three of them work as a trio. And now we've seen Thunderbolt and the Creation function as a team. So the first thing I think of is, I wonder how the Creation and Sandman would work as a team, just to do the last possible.
Honestly, I think that's the better pairing if you break up the Time Bandits. And that's kind of the thing. When you have such a dominant tag team in a trio like that, there's not a lot of reasons for the Creation to be the second member of a team. This was just a rare opportunity to see it.
Yeah. Honestly, he's more... the Creation has generally shown to be stronger as a singles wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And this was just, and even then in the tag situation, it looked like his big job was keeping people off Thunderbolt so Thunderbolt could get the job done.
And this was also Tornado Tags, who had played a little bit more into what he does best, which is be in singles matches. Traditional tag, I think they would have been able to isolate Thunderbolt a little bit better, and creation could have been negated a little bit.
Yeah, these are all good points. So either way, though, House Caliban wins their open challenge. So as we are on the road to Multivania, it's going to be interesting to see what comes next. We have some more news about House Caliban later, but we'll wait till the more relevant match to discuss. In the meantime, one of the things we've been tracking for quite a while is the ongoing feud that Kevin Blackwell, the modern day gladiator, has had with Dungeons and Destiny. We have seen him either in ring or out of ring attack Drathulu, Lord Bareback, and Moira Draco. And all this seemed to be leading to one singular destination, and that is the modern day gladiator coming to the ring to face the mentor of Dungeons and Destiny, Rapture New Road.
In a hardcore match.
Yeah. And to the point, while Rapture is still entering the ring, Blackwell didn't even wait for the bell.
Nope.
I'd say, given Blackwell's track record, kudos for him at least waiting until Rapture was between the ropes.
And right here, you'll notice the referee vacates the ring, which should tell you something about the ferocity that you are about to see in this match.
Yeah.
There was no ref in the ring. He did all of his counts from outside the ring.
Well, it's not like he can count a disqualification or count down any moves. And then in a moment that I'm sure I know Mr. Rabbit because I heard him yelling, was very familiar with. And
Flashback.
Yeah. Fortunately, I think Rapture expected this and had it scouted and was able to get out of the way.
Yep.
And then Rapture decided, well, if it's good for you, it's good for me, and speared Kevin into a table.
Lawn dart, technically.
Yeah. It's so I will say this. A lot of people thought this was going to be a train wreck as far as Rapture was concerned. But
and I think it was until he got that chair on his neck, and then Rapture was like, it woke him up.
Yeah, and then this moment, I mean, a lot of people, when this moment happened, we heard a lot of calls for, is this the moment of the week?
This corkscrew splash of his is already devastating. To do it off the top rope through a ladder, it's just, the enrapturing splash is just disgustingly powerful. I can't imagine what that feels like on your ribs and your back.
Even in my prime, I wouldn't have wanted to have faced something like that. I agree completely.
And I thought that was, honestly, I thought that was it for Blackwell. I'm like, well, that was what he needed to do. That was his best shot, and it didn't work, which let Blackwell do something that we had seen before in the last man standing match with Ginger Boy.
That's right. I mean, this is in a lot of ways a callback. Makes you wonder, is he directly calling back, or is this just a favorite move of his in these style of matches?
I think it's just he knows that his finisher is devastating, and then to do it at such an elevation and through a table just makes it more devastating. I think it's just part of his repertoire. Because Ginger Boy's not even here to really call back for it. It's just, that just hurts. That just, everything about that hurts.
Yeah, and at that point, no one can blame Rapture New Road for going down and staying down. Have we heard any reports on Rapture's condition?
That is a good question. The only thing that I have heard is that he will be medically cleared to compete on Warzone.
Actually, hang on a second. I'm getting news, getting a alert from Phyllis that I might want to pick up the phone. It's not code D. Just let you know. All right, and hey, ladies and gentlemen, hello. Who is on the phone with us now? I'm hearing something, but it's caller. Could you speak up, please?
the mixing board again. You know how it is.
I know.
Oh, yeah. It is I, Rapture New Road.
Ah, Rapture. Oh, well, Rapture, how are you feeling?
I've been better.
Fair. I mean, after seeing what you went through in that match, I can imagine. So now that this has happened, and basically Kevin Blackwell has gone all through Dungeon and Destiny, do you have any message for him?
I'm not the one to take you down, but watch yourself, Blackwell. Dungeons and Destiny will roll initiative with you again. You may not know when, but stay on your toes.
All right. And do you have anything to say to the Firing Line audience?
Just be your best selves, guys. That's all I can ask.
All right. Well, Rapture, it sounds like you're still
Good
got
recovery,
some...
Rapture. Hell of a match.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Genericson. It's always a pleasure to be on Flashbang.
It's always a pleasure to steal you from Warzone.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Rapture New Road, for calling in, and we'll let you get back to your recovery now.
Thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Rapture New Road, who, we didn't mention because we were just so focused on the devastation. But, and you had mentioned this on the night, Rapture New Road, while never officially part of the Flashbang roster, did appear on the first ever episode of Friday Night
Fatal
Flashbang.
4-way match. It was him, Shere Khan, Bulldog Grant Martin, I believe it was Graven in a Fatal 4-way that he won.
It was, and then, I mean, look at how those other three wrestlers rose through our ranks after that. And I believe he did appear on a couple of other matches. So Rapture has certainly had a Flashbang connection, even though he's never been officially
He accompanied
member.
D&D to the ring when Warrior was taken out.
Yeah. So with that, we're now coming to, we're coming to the tag team championship match. But before we get there, we have a little tradition here on MNW Firing Line, where we like to pick out a out of ring promo produced by one of the wrestlers and highlight it as our audio promo of the week. This week, ladies and gentlemen, we take you to Suicide Gemini.
Breakdown the 6th. A time where once again everything is on the line. A pair of demons against another. A homicidal, suicidal butcher and his good friend, the Master Chef, against two tyrannical titans, wrapped in bones and then some. After countless bouts, time and time again, these two warriors of the macabre have made tragic horror stories out of everyone who dared challenge them. Will this reign stay stagnant and same as a predetermined fate? Or will new life be born under the decayed carcass of its slain former self? Tonight, Count your blessings and brandish your holy symbols tightly. Because when 4 demons come out to play, it will rain hell on earth, and it will leave quite a mess. Question now is, who will be Flashbang's tag team champions, and who will be just a big old pile of them bones? See you in hell.
And so, with that, Hell's Kitchen, Suicide Gemini, and Mr. Manatee face off against Spike and Burden, the Bone Warriors. And this, I mean, let's be honest, the Bone Warriors have been the picture of fighting champions.
And one of the most dominant teams that we've ever seen in this company.
Let's put one statistic that stands out above all else. They won those belts at Multivania. That was last July, and they have held on to them the entire time while taking on nearly every tag team on the roster. And one of the things that you can say about the Bone Warriors is they've given just about everyone a fair shot.
Yeah.
And the selection process of the Hell's Kitchen showed they were the next worthy team. And I will say this also, the Bone Warriors, as a rule, tend to at least be not dismissive of their opponents. And I think that may be the secret to their success. They don't consider the belts a divine right, but something they have to work to keep.
Yes.
And as such, now this was a fascinating moment. Everyone knows.
It shows you they did their homework.
Yeah, Burden is a absolute threat outside the ring. And as soon as he got Manatee out there, Gemini decided, okay, well, the best thing I can do for my partner is neutralize you now. It was just the ring awareness, as you said, the homework that Gemini did. It was a smart move. Everyone recognized
very risky.
Oh yeah, because he's facing.
Because you can't change the belts on a count out, and counts up to 6 now.
Well, that and also just facing Burden outside the ring.
Also bad.
Yeah, not so. And I will say this: Manatee took advantage and managed to get the match back where it belonged. And then there's Burden giving a little payback to Suicide.
Yeah, and I know we weren't able to show all of it, but there were a couple of frog splashes, one by each man, the Fall into Despair, where I thought the belts were going to change hand, because Suicide Gemini is such an X factor in terms of his unique offense and his ability to just absorb punishment. I thought they were the most well-equipped team I've ever seen to give the Bone Warriors a run for their money, and they certainly did, but Boning Hammer,
and Suicide not even in the ring.
Knocked out to the outside.
I agree with you. This was one of the most credible contenders we've seen yet. And it does take us back to a very simple question. Who can possibly take the belts off the Bone Warriors? Now, normally you'd say, oh, well, they're definitely going to go to Multivania with the belts. Except the only reason I won't say that definitively is the Bone Warriors have shown a willingness to defend the belts outside of pay-per-views.
There's only a pay-per-view about every 3 to 4 months, so...
Yeah, and they've definitely defended the belts more often. As I said, they've gone through just about, I think...
I can think of maybe 4 or 5 teams that could challenge them, although we'll talk about that also when we get to the end of Breakdown.
That's a good point. Fair enough. Yes, we absolutely will. The next match is this match. So there's a lot of things that people can brag about on the roster. And one of the, outside of a title reign, probably one of the most brag-worthy factors you can have is an undefeated streak. And the best claim to that is Satiris Basilicus, who has never had a pinfall, never submitted, and never lost a singles match. In fact, has he? I don't think he's lost any matches at all.
For Satiris?
For Satiris.
Not a single match.
So Satiris...
As true an undefeated streak as you can have. And definitive. He doesn't just beat people. The question when Satiris is in a match is not who is going to win, but how long will they survive, which shows you the dominance.
This is true. As soon as he shows up, there's always a betting pool. And it's the outlier is always, well, maybe Satiris will lose this time. So this match was promoted as a Beat the Streak match featuring the Colt Classic, Henry Colt, as the man to take on this monster. And now, Henry Colt's an interesting choice because if Satiris has shown any kind of weak spot, it has been to submission.
Submission and speed. Yeah. We've seen Slamphibian and the Omni Geek, the latter of which I think has given him his longest match. That's what gave them problems. Colt's not that quick, but he does have some speed to him, and you're right. Submissions have given him a little bit of a problem. He's not like his brother.
So this, Henry Colt, I'd say, was, if you're going to have somebody have a shot at him, it's going to be Henry.
I mean, Henry was all the right elements, in my opinion.
But on the other hand, I mean, even you and Rabbit were taking bets on the time frame of this match. Which, at the end of that, we did have an official count, which we'll discuss after the match, after this recap is over. But yeah, it's and I'll say this, Henry. You talk about the Omni Geek and how much trouble the Omni Geek gave Satiris. I would say, how many people have busted Satiris open?
I can't think of, I'm sure it's happened, but I can't think of one.
Yeah, and so here we have Henry has now managed that. So no matter what else, Henry
put it on the resume, kid.
Yeah, he's reminding people that he's a top tier talent for a reason. He's probably the best talent on the roster that hasn't really had a title shot yet. Or no, he did. He did face Nero once. I take that back. My bad. But yeah, here and a lot of moments. I know there was a lot of breath holding in the watch party I was participating in while this match was going on. But then back and forth.
I thought that was the end. I thought both of these were the end.
Well, and this, I think, just shows the resilience of Henry Colt.
Yeah. I think he started... This was the first time I think I've ever seen Satiris actually frustrated. I mean, I don't know. I can't remember if you showed the highlight, but where he tried to win by countout.
Yeah, that I felt was a flex on his opponent. But yeah, but
he was daring him to get up. He was like, all right, let's see if you can handle that after being thrown into the barricade. But eventually that double underhook facebuster that he has, nobody has kicked out of, and it's just disgusting.
And for the record keepers, we now have a count, bell to bell. Oh, right. And then this happened. This, I think, shows how much Henry frustrated Satiris.
I would agree. And at the end of the day, I mean, I don't want to just call him an animal, but, like, they have tempers. Apex all have tempers.
No, the one calm one in the group is Mizuki.
Yeah, and even the ref. Look at the ref getting stacked up on the apron.
I think a lot of it was, how dare you not fold like everyone else?
Yeah, he was probably expecting a lot less and got a lot more. Oh,
God. And to the best of my knowledge, Henry did need medical attention after this match.
It was confirmed that he has a concussion. Yeah. So Scott wants to talk about a concussion. That's a concussion.
And the last I heard, he has not been cleared for in-ring action.
He is not.
So, but for the statisticians, bell to bell, Henry Colt lasted 15 minutes.
Yep.
The new record. Henry's good about collecting records.
He sure is.
You know, he holds the record to the most eliminations during a showcase match And now he has the record for lasting the longest in the ring against Satiris Basilicus.
He sure does.
So, I mean, we wish you a speedy recovery, Henry.
So that makes the 3 that have lasted in there the longest. It's Max, Omni Geek, and Henry Colt, I believe. Unless Slamphibian lasted longer than Max. I can't remember.
Max lasted 6 minutes.
Yes.
And he was the second longest after the Omni Geek's 10. So yeah, the top are Henry, then Omni Geek, and then finally Maximilian Thunderthighs.
Yeah.
And with Max's case,
Max just got caught in a bad spot, like that spear off the Max damaged the wrong way.
Yeah, I get the feeling Satiris might have been playing with him a little bit though.
I don't disagree.
So that's all right. So going from that now, if you want to talk grudge matches and matches with so much going on, and we were just talking about the Omni Geek, and the Omni Geek has found himself in the position of being the chief investigator of Mr. Lawson, the lawyer for the Brass, who has been managing affairs on their behalf during Rabbit's suspension. And in that role, he did uncover the answer to 2 mysteries. Who stole the mask from the family home of DeLuna 13, the mask of his father, La Luna El Chavo, and who ran over PM Ghost. And the fact is that both questions have one answer. CJR Killer.
Cash Jobs Repeat Killer.
The man who he and his tag partner are actually lifetime banned from
Flashbang.
On Flashbang. Fortunately, Breakdown.
We're on Breakdown, yep.
Yeah, it's not actually Flashbang. So the CJR was brought out, and for once came out by himself, I suppose, to point out he's the prime target with his partner Theron Eldrazi. And then DeLuna hired Jack the Questionable and Red Star Roman, but hired them to be partners to the Outlaws.
So that they could basically take care of all the dirty laundry all at once.
Yeah. And teaming with Spectre Sonata and his good friend, the Bulldog, Grant Martin, DeLuna wearing his grandfather's mask.
Yeah, some Keen-Chin Liger going on with DeLuna.
So
the blood moon was out. It wasn't Halloween, but it was a blood moon.
What do we know about DeLuna's grandfather?
We know that his grandfather, much like his father and the entire luchador lineage, was primarily competed in Mexico and around South America, but was a very, very well-known lucha libre star in his home of Mexico.
And the other thing we know from what we heard previously is that mask frightened DeLuna when he was growing up. So this is, in a lot of ways, the legacy wrestler embracing his fears.
Well, it's also interesting that CJ decided to steal the father's mask, so he comes out with the grandfather's mask.
And just don't say face your fears. That's somebody else.
That's true. Anyway, so very quickly, DeLuna eliminated
I don't remember.
Red Star Roman.
TK did.
Oh, TK, sorry. Yeah, and let's not sleep on TK. TK is a great wrestler.
TK beat Johan.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Jack then takes out TK with this payday, and the Outlaws keep everybody busy while DeLuna's trying to take a breather.
Say what you will about the Outlaws. They're a well-oiled machine.
They are, and Jack is no slouch in and of himself.
No, there's a reason why he's an in-demand merc. You certainly can't accuse DeLuna of cowardice in hiring him to be the Outlaws' partner.
Oh, and there's the Bulldog catching a dead or alive powerbomb, which we haven't seen on Flashbang TV in quite some time, but as devastating as ever. He did it onto the legs of CG Ghost.
Well-scouted moment. And then, of course, both of them are double-teaming CG.
And I will say, for a tornado tag match, the Outlaws worked very well. As you see it here with DeLuna, the Outlaws absolutely kicked the crap out of DeLuna, probably via orders. but that does let CG Ghost catch Jack the Questionable with a Phantom Factory and even things up, which that might have been a miscalculation on the Outlaws' part, but in their minds, they probably didn't need any help anyway.
That actually tracks with their history. But this then takes us to the final two, and again, talking about keeping isolation as a game plan. As CJR works over to Luna outside the ring, that was the Serpent's Kiss.
That is the Serpent's Kiss on CG Ghost.
Yeah. And there goes CG. And now it's a 2-on-1 match and not in DeLuna's favor.
It's not just a 2-on-1 match. It is a 2-on-1 match against one of the most well-established tag teams in MNW and former tag team champions. But after putting him down with Ogrillo de Familia, a lunar eclipse to the floor.
And that was, I mean, you talk about that move that Rapture did. That was insane and true high risk.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
And that was after Theron had kicked out of 2 Luna bombs, so he didn't know what to do. And now this is what everybody wanted to see. It was CJ and DeLuna, and you could hear CJ screaming this whole match, "You're going to have to kill me to get this win, kid." And I thought this was it. I thought he had gotten them both back to back, but CJ decided no.
No. I mean, CJ earned his rep this evening, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And but DeLuna, I mean, whatever CJ's fighting for, DeLuna is fighting for family, fighting for honor, fighting for his friends. He you know, his whole heart and soul are on the line in this match.
Mm-hmm.
And that heart was, you almost feel that he's fighting for all of Lucha tradition right here.
And how many times did see, look, there it is right there, the war stomp. He was booting everybody all night.
Yeah, and how many of those did DeLuna eat during the entire
I think
match?
DeLuna ate at least 3 because he hit one on the outside, he ate that one, and I'm pretty sure he took another one at some point.
Yeah, it just...
But he kicked out of it twice.
Yeah, and in the end... CJR is a skilled merc, and he's one of the most brutal in the business. But as I was just saying, DeLuna was fighting for something. And in the end, I guess the spirit of his ancestors empowered him to get the win. But, I mean, well, this was a satisfying victory. Absolutely. But there's a lot of questions we still need answered. And I'm sure they're plaguing DeLuna. And that is, CJR Killer only does work for money. That's all he cares about.
Yep.
So there is still the question, who was paying the bills?
For both, because there's no guarantee it's the same person for both incidents.
No. Although, when you think about it, CJR Killer was a great choice because since he's no longer allowed on the premises during a regular Flashbang night, he was out of everyone's minds. Actually, credit to the OmniGeek for even figuring it out.
I mean, I don't know what he did. I don't know what footage he got or what he was able to do. Or, I mean, he did talk to Kat about a lot of this stuff, so maybe that was where he got that information.
Yeah. But still, in the end, satisfying victory. And kudos to you, DeLuna, and actually great work from your entire team. Actually, great work. That was a great match. I mean, you know, even if you don't like them, though, the Mercs are all great wrestlers.
Absolutely.
Well, now this next match, all right, you're going to have to help me here, Eric. Because I feel I do pretty good tracking things down, keeping track of things. But I'm still trying to figure out I understand Kathgina is Faye. Whoops, did we lose Eric?
No, I think he stepped away for a quick second.
Oh, okay. Well,
yes, Kathgina is Faye.
Okay, well, hang on a second. Do we have some?
There he is.
I was going to say, I think we might have somebody from that match on the line. I just wanted to check text messages to see if they were available. They actually corrected me on something. Okay. It was actually DeLuna's great uncle's mask. It wasn't his grandfather's.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good. So, do we have somebody on the phone, or was it just you were getting a text message?
We do actually. We have, if we pull them on down in here onto the phone line, we are joined by one of the members of Team DeLuna, the Bulldog, Grant Martin.
Hey, thanks for bringing me on. I really appreciate that.
Oh, that's happy to have you, Bulldog. So, how's everyone feeling after that? I mean, that was a hell of a match. Hell of a match.
It was. We're very proud of our results there, especially my partner DeLuna. He put on a hell of a display, and I'm proud of him for it. And we're all very excited because we've gotten a bit of revenge, especially for PM and DeLuna's father.
Well, and that's actually something I wanted to ask you about, Bulldog, because on the topic of revenge, DeLuna got some retribution, CG Ghost got some retribution, but you were eliminated before you really got your hands on Jack the Questionable, which I'm pretty sure is why DeLuna hired him specifically. He has still been walking around in a replica of Shere Khan's mask. Where do you stand with that situation? And are you frustrated that you weren't, not only were you not the one to put him down, you barely got to touch him?
Yeah, I feel very a little pent up. I was hoping to get my hands on him and hopefully resolve this situation once and for all. But as always, I'm going to have to wait and bide my time and finally get my claws on that. Pardon me.
Yeah, this is a family show.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't know what is possessing Jack to continue to taunt me and to continue to taunt everybody by wearing that replica. But I promise you, it will be resolved sooner or later. It will be taken care of. I promise you.
All right, Jerry, did you have any other questions for our guest here?
I guess. You answered part of it right there because my question is, what's next? Well, I guess we know what's next for you. Any thoughts or any ideas on what's next for DeLuna?
Well, ever since Breakdown 5, I've been focusing on helping DeLuna and resolve the situation that's been going on with him and his father. We have each other's back right now, and the fact that he helped me out, I'm going to help him out as best I can. And so far, we've gotten a big lead in just finding CGR Killer. It's just now a matter of time of finding the person who hired him and finally resolving this.
I'm actually going to put you on the spot. I've thought of one more question, Jerry.
Okay, go for it.
A couple of weeks ago, we got some audio from apparently you and DeLuna having a conversation. And DeLuna mentioned that they were going to see someone. Who was that?
I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to tell you that.
Damn it!
You see, OmniGeek is not the only person that we have reached out to investigate all this, but we did coordinate our efforts and give said evidence that pointed CGR Killer to OmniGeek, so he can expose his actions to everyone. Because go ahead.
So what you're saying is this person that DeLuna spoke to helped you collect the evidence that you gave to the OmniGeek?
Correct.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, that's a development.
Yeah, you hear it here first on Firing Line, folks.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Bulldog. I'll take that little nugget, and best of luck getting your hands on Jack the Questionable.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you, Bulldog. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. Now, Eric, help me out here.
Yeah.
Because, I usually do pretty good in tracking down information. But we know that Kath Gina, the Lady Fae, has had a huge issue with Jagger Blackthorn. And
apparently all the Omni Slayers, because I've seen it directed at Artemis as well. She's been cheering Hero. She's been rooting against them in all their matches. It's been strange.
Is there anything to it outside of she doesn't like Omni Slayers?
Well, we heard at the pay-per-view where Kathgina called out Jagger Blackthorn. She said, "You have blood on your hands and it's as cold as the ice in your veins." And what I've learned about the Fae, just from watching Earl King work, they are always choosing their words for a very specific reason. I haven't been able to decipher what that means, but my hope is we're going to get some kind of explanation as to what Simon told Kethgina that started this all in the first place, because Jagger knows something. His silence, in my opinion, makes him complicit. When he was challenged about poisoning Blight, came out immediately and said, I didn't do it. This time, he has said nothing, which I think is a very different way to handle it and speaks volumes as to what's actually going on.
All right. Well, either way, a match that was not initially announced on the card, it was a late entry, featured Kethgina coming to the ring to face the Omni Slayer Jagger Blackthorn. So I guess this could be qualified as a grudge match only on one side. Maybe both, after what you said. But yeah, Kethgina versus Jagger. Obviously the brass decided that enough venom was being spewed both ways to get them to try and settle it in the ring. Any thoughts on where this? Anyway, go ahead.
It's interesting that he responded to Kethgina's challenge for an actual match rather than her request for information, which makes me think whatever he is either hiding or doesn't want to talk about is either huge, or he's just refusing to give Simon the Psycho the opportunity to cause chaos by responding to it. But really, whether he responds to it or not, this is the end result. It has been chaos. Kethgina hasn't been happy, so Simon's already done the damage. If I'm Jagger, it's just about time for you to come out and say something. What's going on?
True. Although, let's be honest, he's always kept his own counsel, I suppose, other than his work with Artemis and maybe some of the early Fate leadership. He generally has kept to his own as far as strategic matters. So,
and that seems to be an Omni Slayer type. They seem to be solo hunters. They don't normally hunt in packs, although him and Artemis, a two-man team maybe.
Well, yeah, although Apprentice and, Teacher.
A little different, yeah.
Yeah, that may be the exception to the rule. But this also, I mean, yeah, he does seem to have an understanding of how to play against Fey instincts.
And that's kind of the thing is Kethgina wanted revenge. Jagger wanted to avoid this completely. But as this match wore on, you could see Kethgina was just fighting with everything that she had. But Jagger had obviously fought Faye before. His job is to neutralize the mystical that we have never seen before. And I guarantee you this isn't the first Fae creature he's fought. And he did a very good job on very short notice of being able to adapt to this particular Fae style. Because they're not all the same. I think there's 4 different sects of it, or maybe more.
It gets confusing. I've tried to track it down. I can only identify 3 right now myself.
Yeah. So, and there you see the hunter's mark, and that'll do it for just about anybody, Fae or not.
So
Jagger didn't celebrate that much. Like he didn't seem as happy as he normally is after a win. He just kind of got the job done. It was like, you want me? All right, let's get this over with.
I have a feeling this was if you'll excuse the metaphor, this was more like a move in a chess match. And
agreed.
Kethgina was I hate to say this because I know don't like to get in trouble with the Fae, but I think she might have just been a piece on the board. That hurt even saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Because no, I don't want to.
Why don't we just go to the next?
Let's do that's great. And this, okay. You know what? There are few matches that actually get people's attention as a get off the schneid match. It's a match where it's underdogs as far as the eye can see. And this one had special resonance because Lawson declared that if Brawl Kaiser didn't get off the schneid in this match, that he was going to ship him off to Warzone and get, I guess, another wrestler to fill his slot. So with that, the Takahatsu hero Brawl Kaiser comes to the ring with his last shot at redemption, facing the perennial loser Donkey Kong, the also completely winless Cool J Kyo, and then I think pushing the description of a get off the schneid match, Lionel Matrix, a debuting wrestler.
Yeah, which, I mean, technically it's supposed to get you a win after you've been on a losing streak. Technically, he's never won, so he's getting off that schneid. I feel like they were just trying. The brass seemed to set this up against Brawl Kaiser.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And I don't have a lot of book on Matrix right now.
No, but he certainly likes his weapons. If this match was any indication, look what he does to DK to just open it up.
Right. And also, I think there's a lot of people were like, we really want to see Donkey Kong win his first match, but not this way.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing is I think you wanted to see, you even were like, oh, Lionel, I'd love to see him win his first match in his debut. A lot of people have done that, but not at the expense of the boy.
No.
Not Brawl Kaiser.
And
thankfully, or not, I guess, DK found an early end with a table.
Yeah. And this is rough because DK, we learned last week, DK really shouldn't be wearing that vest anymore.
No, he shouldn't, but
I understand he's going through occupational therapy with Dr. Caliban at House Caliban.
Oh boy. That's the rumor. I have no knowledge of that.
I have sources. I mean, you can learn a lot by offering Seth Jackson pizza. But
oh my.
Yeah. And then here. Yeah, that I mean you were talking about the use of the chairs by Matrix.
And we're not even talking about the ladder that he scoop slammed Cool J Kyo through earlier.
No. And I mean, there was like, how do you trying to pick what do you highlight here? And just, he was brutal all through the match.
He was. Right there, you saw him get reversed. Brawl Kaiser gets back in the ring, right back out over the top. And when it came to this elimination, he literally beat Cool J Kyo down so bad with a chair that he couldn't get up. And he was double doinking people all day.
Yeah, and there goes, and Kaiser tried to break it up.
I think he break it up because he's like, I might actually need some help with this guy.
Yeah, but as you said, that was pretty much Cool J Kyo was out of gas.
Yep. But honestly, all that work that Lionel did, it didn't matter in the end because Lionel caught one of the Starbusters.
There we go, and Brawl Kaiser gets him into position. Gets him
staying away from the ropes, even though there's no rope break, but just making sure nothing happens. And there you go.
I almost feel that's muscle memory at that point. It's like, I should get him away from... Also, it's Brawl Kaiser.
It is.
He's...
Yep.
It's like, Brawl Kaiser, there's no kind of, I've got to get him away from the ropes. Yep, you're great, dude. But, and everyone loves Brawl Kaiser. So, But
I was worried. When I saw Matrix coming down to the ring, I was like, oh, they want him to lose. That's how it felt.
I mean, I know that he would have at least gotten a warm welcome from Mega Blitz if he had gone to Warzone.
Yeah, but I think the lawyer was very frustrated because he wanted the Big Oof title on Flashbang. Like, he's supposed to be kind of in the middle, but he does represent Flashbang. And you saw it. He was very unhappy Brawl Kaiser didn't do that. Then he gave Brawl Kaiser the ultimatum in the 8-man, didn't win that. And then he stacked the deck in this match.
Yeah, but,
also, we might have a new hardcore superstar in Lionel Matrix.
It could be, but either way, Brawl Kaiser wins, and we get to keep him, which made
we sure do
everyone very happy. So, now you talked about Lawson very much may have wanted to get the Big Oof title onto Flashbang. But there was another opportunity. Oh, wait a minute. We're getting something. Okay. Hang on. Before we get into that, we're hearing from Lady Catherine, from Kath Gina. Yep. She's texting me directly.
Oh boy.
It's like, Jerry, I realize that I was a piece to him. I had no other choice.
Jagger needs to explain what's going on.
Really, we really need to get him. We need to get him to explain himself. Somebody needs to call him out.
Yeah, because I have never seen Kev Gina act like this, and it was immediately after Simon dropped some kind of bombshell in private.
Yeah, So, well, as I was saying,
much like the tag situation, we'll circle back to Kajina towards the end of the night, if you catch my drift.
But all right, as we said, belts from Warzone coming to Flashbang. The Trios Champion, I'd say the Trios Champion has a tradition of being defended on both shows.
It does. It's the last 2 breakdowns have featured some kind of Trios match.
Yeah. And this one's no different. And this had so much history. Of course, it started at Breakdown 5 when the then Trios Champions meme did a goof on Doom during their match against APS, which led Doom to retaliating by costing Meme their championship to VIP, which ultimately led to faction warfare and that 30-man Trios team battle royale that was won by Mad Jack, thus earning Doom a shot at VIP's Trios championship. I think I covered it all there.
I think you
I
did.
think those are all the adjectives.
I think so. But right before that match, we heard from the challengers.
Well, isn't it ironic? Don't you think? It's like rain on your wedding day, or a free ride when you've already paid. It's the good advice that you just didn't take. And who would have thought? Oh, it figures. Just as we were the ones to grant VIP the Trio's titles, so too shall we be the ones to take them away. This whole faction warfare started with a Warzone team stealing our spotlight, and it will end with us stealing their gold. I think that's a fair trade, no? I hope Ozzy is ready to be buried with his 2 pets, like the pharaohs who came before him. While I can acknowledge his skill as a technical wrestler, in the end, a faction is only as good as the sum of its parts. And he has some very weak links on his end. Wouldn't you agree, boys?
Wilson, son of Will, where to begin with you? You sad little man. No matter what you look like, your dreams show you as what you really are. That same strange little man who got beaten up so bad by Ouroboros, he needed to change his face. You got the surgery, you joined VIP. A perfect dream for you. But all dreams must come to an end. What you think was the peak of your dreams, winning the Trio's gold, was actually the start of your nightmare.
I, Albatross, you were once a great man, a former champion whose skill in the ring made you one of the most feared competitors in all the multiverse. However, that was all in the past. In the end, you were never able to overcome your greatest fear. The scars of the past proved too much for you to overcome in your battle with Hat Smoke. You failed to grow as a man, instead choosing to cope with your many failures by becoming the shadow of a man we know today. Yet, the future still holds more suffering for you, now that you stand between Doom and the Trio's titles. And I can promise that this time around, no one is going to save you. Click Doomsday.
And with that, Doom, Michael Macabre, Zericus the Night Reaper, and the Pumpkin King Mad Jack against Ozzy Turan, Wilson Son of Will, and the Doctor of Albinomics, VIP.
Remember, it's like a Tribe Called Quest. You got to say the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's what I was told.
Yeah, it's always the Doctor of Albinomics.
Though trending all over social media, hashtag not my albatross. I was very proud of that.
That's yeah. But yeah, this match, I mean, I would say this was a reminder of what an effective team VIP is.
Well, and this was brilliant because Ozir Tehran was the guy who lasted all the way till the end with Malice in that trios match when Doom interfered. They've done their homework. Ozir's always one of the last two guys in the ring. And they got rid of him first with 3 finishers, but the Doctor of Albenomix with an Andraste was able to tie it up. Mad Jack couldn't get there in time. And now you're in trouble because that's a former Nexus Titan champion. Wilson, a former Big Oof champion. The current trios champions. They're no slouches in singles or trios matches. Neither one of these guys.
True. And despite how long most of Doom has been in the company, they've never held gold. So that's and the other thing you're talking about, yeah, these guys have held gold. A lot of people like to goof on Wilson, but the fact is, at this point, he's proven himself as a wrestler.
He was a former #1 contender for the world title on Flashbang. He came out of Block D. He was the guy. Sorry, Block C. It was him.
Yeah. But yeah, he is a 2-time champion now,
and he took out Macabre, but Mad Jack once again turned the tables. All Hallows knee. Mad Jack was wise enough to hit him with a headbutt, and he goes, "Oh wait, Wilson's not around anymore. Let's get rid of the Doctor of Albenomix."
And just like that, I mean, really, when you think about it, this is probably the best showdown you could have hoped for to end this match.
It is. And there's Wilson up to his old tricks and knocking the ref out for a low blow, but it might have cost him. Does it let this happen?
Right in the Gordons.
Yeah, and it's, you know, Kane, Legion overall has been having their issues, and Kane having been a Warzone superstar, then a Flashbang superstar, then back on Warzone, never feeling he's gotten his due, and it's got to irk him that somebody like Wilson is a 2-time champion.
Yep. And interestingly enough, he teamed with Doom and Wiley to fight the new 4 Horsemen to defend Flashbang.
True, yeah.
Like he was tracking Dr. Grimm, and you know, here we are, nearly 2 years later, and he's helping Mad Jack win the trios titles.
That's
and for the first time in 3 years, Genericson and Mad Jack are champions.
And there we go, and a new title on Flashbang. Although I suspect, as we said before, this just feels like one of those belts that's going to be a little bit more fluid in where it gets defended. I could be wrong. It has that feel. Because it already has been. We'll have to see. I suppose that's a question for Lawson, ultimately.
Well, yeah, and it's also going to be a really question for Doom.
When will their first title defense be? Against who? And what show gets the opportunity in Multivania if they're still champions?
Oh, yeah. That's a good call.
Yeah.
So, okay, hang on. My phone line is light. Oh, hang on a second. Phyllis is saying I need.
Oh, no, there's three of them, aren't there?
No, hang on. This is weird. I got like 4. Hang on. I'm going to hit this one first. Give me a second.
Okay, hit that one.
Hey, Jerry and Pete. I'm just calling in real fast to let Kane know live on air that what he did was fucking unforgivable! I had that match won! Mad Jack was on the ropes, and I was about to prove to him that I deserved the belt around my waist! Then Kane decided he needed his 10 minutes of fame that he couldn't get himself! Fuck you, Kane! You're dead next time I see you! Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go grieve for the fate of the Trios belt. See you on Saturday!
Wilson, son of Will. Okay, hang on. Uh-oh, we better get this other call.
Oh, boy.
Code D.
Oh, no, not Code D.
Code D. Okay, hang on. Hello? Hello, champs.
Greetings. Good evening, Jerry.
Hello, Jerry!
Ladies and gentlemen, your new Trios champions, Doom.
We would like to formally welcome everyone to Doomsday.
Oh, it's going to be a party. You know what they say? We started from the bottom, and now we're here.
Some could say it's a party at the apocalypse.
Ooh, apocalypse now, I would agree.
That's great. I mean, congratulations. As we said earlier, a long road and a well earned victory. What are your plans now that you have the belts,
boys?
Well,
continue the carnage.
Take on and beat any challenger who steps before us.
Ooh, I have a fun idea, boys. What if we did something that they don't do on Warzone? What if we defended these babies? You know, before a pay-per-view. That is not our shows.
That sounds like a brilliant idea.
But who? Who should we defend it against? There's so many good teams. There's the Empire, there's Apex, there's Fabulous, there's AAA. I'll tell you what, Flashbang. How about the three of us do an open challenge? Those are in vogue, aren't they?
They are. Let us write in.
I figure let's see who wants to step up to Doomsday first.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Doom is issuing an open challenge for their Trios Championship.
Now, Jerry, there is one thing I wanted to address. I couldn't help but hear Wilson say he had the match won. Wilson, the saying goes you played yourself. And while I'm not going to pretend like I did it all on my own, but I did, if you had not knocked down the referee and gone for the old pumpkin nads, you would not have been speared into oblivion. So, one good trick deserves another. Maybe, if you can get your act together, we'll see you down the road. Of course, if you're too scared, I understand.
All right, there we have it. So, any parting words for the audience?
I think just two. Michael, why don't you do the honors?
Click. Doomsday.
Toodles.
Okay. So, Pete, that's what's been going on lately.
I don't like them. They're terrifying.
I'm not.
I heard that, Genericson.
Sorry.
We hung up the phone.
I don't. Yep, I know. I know we hung the phone up.
Wait, was he outside the booth the whole time?
I don't know. Don't look behind you.
Please don't. Stop looking, Jerry.
Stop looking.
I'm not looking. Okay. Take a deep breath. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. It's you know what? It's not our problem. It's whoever steps up to that open challenge. Oh my God. We have, you know what this means. It's an open challenge. You know who's going to accept.
Yeah, Vaporwave.
Absolutely. Always. There's an open challenge. There's Vaporwave.
But here's my question. What happens if more than one team answers the open challenge?
I would, you know what? Maybe they have to face each other for the right.
Oh boy. Things are about to get spicy.
That's, yeah. Madjet could have just created an inadvertent tournament.
I think he likes chaos.
Yeah, I think he's going to record. Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like this is exactly something he would do.
Mm-hmm. Because he did it. Yeah, let's be honest. All right. Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, we have new titles on Flashbang. We now have 4 titles.
Yeah. It's
it only took 3 breakdowns.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking of our titles, so this next bit, little unconventional. Usually on a pay-per-view, the main event of the night is the heavyweight championship. But because of the circumstances surrounding the interdimensional belt, the decision was made to give it the main event slot. And so our penultimate match of the evening was Artemis, the Omni Slayer, facing off against the champ Nero Napier for the World Heavyweight Championship. And this has been quite the buildup. Ever since Artemis earned the right, he has been laser focused on getting into Nero's head as much as he could. And Nero has been playing a artful game of dodging around the Omni Slayer.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to what a threat Artemis is and can be. And I think we saw it in this match because there were long stretches where Artemis was in complete control. And as I think back to the match, more moments with Artemis dominating come to mind than Nero. And I don't know if I could ever say that about a challenger during Nero's title reign, where Nero didn't look the most dominant between the two.
I think that's a good fact. And I think this is, at this point, it kind of makes sense that this is somebody who's literally been to hell and back. Went from being just a hunter to serious training in the Omni Slayer tradition to raise his game. And I mean, who was the earliest foe of Nero Napier on the roster? It was Jagger Blackthorn.
So and wouldn't it be apropos for after his apprentice taking him to town for Jagger to do the same? But that requires all this Kathgena stuff to be cleared up, because Nero might have the advantage of not having to deal with Jagger because he's tied up elsewhere.
These are all good points. But right here, I mean, you see that's blanking on Artemis's submission.
The Hunter's Lock.
It is the Hunter's Lock. For some reason, I was thinking that was Jagger. Anyway, that's
Jagger is not a submission user.
That's right.
He's the Hunter's Mark.
But there were several Hunter's Locks put on Nero throughout this match. As you had stated earlier, a very aggressive Artemis. And the uncommon situation of Nero finding himself on the defensive. And in the end, what you want is you want to have the champ go up against a worthy challenger. I mean, no one wants to see a curb stomp every title defense.
Yeah. And I think the longer Nero's champion, the more tape is on his fighting style and what he likes to do. And eventually somebody's going to come along and take advantage of Nero.
Literally what I was just thinking. That as Nero he gets into nearly 2 years on the roster, never having been pinned, never having been submitted, more people get to see what works for him, what doesn't work for him at some point. But here, getting the coil onto Artemis, and one more time at least, retaining his belt. And given how often Nero defends, I think it's a fair statement that he will go to Multivania, where he won the belt in the first place, being the World Heavyweight Champion. Because with his goal of being champ for 1 year to be fulfilled.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's a big goal for him. And I think the Bone Warriors have the same goal now that they are within arm's reach of both.
Yeah, the only difference I could see is I could still see the Bone Warriors having a defense between now and then.
Yeah, honestly, I could see Nero having a defense between now. We are still 3 months away from Multivania.
That's true. We're on the road to Multivania, but we're certainly not there yet. There's a lot of ground to cover. Maybe we'll get this Jagger situation resolved before then. Maybe. But one situation. All right, so let's talk about why the interdimensional belt was the main event of the night. The amount of factors that go into play. So first off, you have Earl King Wes coming in to break down 6, having just won the Interdimensional Championship from Wiley. And before then, he had put a Herculean stack of labors before Helix Sucks. so that Helix could eventually earn the right to face the King of Kings. And with his defeat of every member of the Empire of Terror, Helix Sucks won that right with his final match against Tigeri, the wife of Johan Mjoln.
Oh, boy.
I mean, that's just, I mean, and that one, because that hurt everyone. Because no one wanted to see Tigeri in that situation.
No, I think the only person happy about that match was Tigeri.
Probably. But Helix and Arrow King, of course, having a long history. And Helix even being happy to come to Flashbang just for the chance to get his hands on him. So all of that weighted in to make it the contention with Helix Sucks versus Earl King. Before then, real quick on social media, we have Rapture New are going, can I market Wilson's tears as bath salts? Good question. Well, let's get to the match. Death himself, Helix Sucks, coming to the ring in grand fashion to take on
the Druids. Let's talk about the Druids.
That was like, does he have worshipers? I mean,
the disciples of death.
Death himself, yeah. And Earl
Look at
King,
him flicking off the crowd. Earl King, as soon as the bell rings, utilizing that 10 count.
Yeah, the mind games right off the bat. And just taunting, because of course the belt cannot change hands on a disqualification.
Mm-hmm.
And the ref trying to eventually does get into the ring, and that's where it starts. And then of course the Earl King with a Hearn's charge and looking for an early victory. Just while everyone, of course, was looking at Helix to win the match.
Yeah.
There has to be the memory that these two, this is not their first dance.
No, the last time they were in a ring together, one-on-one for a championship, it was the MNW heavyweight title, and Helix beat Earl King. And I think that's the last time they've gone one-on-one. That being said, Earl King did technically beat Helix by pinning Citra King in that trios match to put them in faction warfare. And that was, well, we all thought that was it. Helix got his opportunity. It wasn't one-on-one, but a technicality changed all that. And then at this point, I'm like, well, Helix got him. Helix had the one more trick up his sleeve. He's played this game. There's your ball game. Thanks for playing, new champ.
Yeah. And like I said, everyone was convinced this was it. It was over. He goes for the pin, and Earl King pulls that vestige of strength, does the kick out. And just when you think, okay, well, here it comes, we're about to go for it again. If there's one thing you can say about the Fey King, it's that he is an absolute master of trickery. And what better trick is there than to play Helix Sucks' own move against him? And I think at this point,
this killed me because I forgot.
Mm-hmm. And one Wrath of the Goblin King later, and Earl King West retains his interdimensional championship. And everyone was like, oh no, because what kind of defender of the multiverse is Earl King West going to be?
Because we had seen him winning a week ago, and now now this is our future.
Yeah,
until this happened.
Yeah. And then the most surprising thing, the music of the chocolate zombie Graven,
who we hadn't seen for weeks.
Now, he'd
been the last time we saw them, they were talking to Lady Kathjina, and we had no idea what that was about.
No,
well,
we
got an answer.
No audio, and here he comes in the same battle gear he wore to bury Prinny, but he doesn't.
And then that music.
I'm alone. Johan Mjoln and Tiki the Troll.
Johan has been a tortured soul, but the moment Graven comes back with Tiki, look where he's at.
And I think we knew pretty clear what the Earl King was holding over the Son of Thunder's head.
Oh, yeah.
And now we know what Graven was talking to Kath Gina about. But even that isn't the only trick. Because that doesn't do anything about the belt. But this does. Because let's remember, Citricane, Mr. Orange in the Bank.
And remember,
what belt?
What are the rules for Money in the Bank? You can't challenge for a heavyweight title, a world title. What is the interdimensional title? A singles title below the world title in an MNW show. It's legal.
Yep, and you know, this I have to feel this is killing Earl King. Citricane used the fine print.
Oh yeah, and how apropos, the man that he pinned to get to the trios belts is now going to take away the only belt he actually get his hands on. And here it is what is crazy about this. Not only is it the return of Tiki, not only is Helix at ringside to watch this go down, his old tag partner, for the first time in half a decade, Citric has a singles title to his name. And it's the interdimensional title.
Yeah. Multiple tag champion. Probably
six times.
Yeah.
6. A record.
Yeah. The most decorated tag wrestler in MNW. And now he's got a singles. But here's the thing. He's still a Warzone wrestler. But it's the Interdimensional Championship. That's a belt that can be defended anywhere. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, your Interdimensional Champion, Citricane. And, okay, on social media, we're hearing from Maximilian Thunderthighs. I'd like to know where this up-and-comer Citricane got the Money in the Bank off of a veteran Citricane. Maybe they know each other. Max, buddy.
Don't even bother.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to.
What's Satiris doing next week?
That's a great question. I don't know. Hey, I know somebody we can ask.
I do too.
Right. In fact, they're on the phone right now.
Oh, well, how convenient.
Ladies and gentlemen, the queen of Apex herself, Mizuki Napier.
Howdy, y'all.
Can we borrow your Minotaur?
Can
we borrow your Minotaur?
We think Max needs a
Why?
rematch.
Yeah, that.
I mean, he's been training with the Minotaurs, right?
Yeah, what's that about?
It's training. He asked if
but
he could
why?
train with the Minotaurs, and the Minotaurs said yes.
So, well, there we go. It's possible. It's possible, Eric. It's possible. So Mizuki, well, for really quick, from Rapture New Road, who was that masked orange? Okay. So with Breakdown 6 in the books, what are your thoughts?
Well, obviously my husband did put on a good show.
He sure did. He's still champion.
Mm-hmm. Like it should be. Everything else kind of is just falling into plan, though.
So I gotta ask, Mizuki.
Do
you believe what Scott E. Stevens said, that he had no idea that Jack Andrews was coming out to attack Labras?
I honestly don't think they're talking much anymore.
All right, so you heard it here. Mizuki Napier is perfectly willing to believe that Scotty Stevens had no idea. How's Labras doing?
He's doing wonderful.
Okay, so he's not taking it too hard that he got screwed out of a victory. Yeah, we'll just use the word.
Oh, no, he's hella pissed. But he's fine.
All right, fair enough. So I guess the only other now, okay, we got to ask Satiris. This we got to know. I mean, he's still undefeated, but he did seem to take exception to how well Henry Colt lasted. I mean, what's that about?
I think it may be a cowboy thing.
Wow, I'm going to be honest. I didn't even think about that. All right.
Because they do ride bulls sometimes.
Fair enough. All right. Well, Mizuki, we got to get on with the show, but thank you for stopping by, and hope to talk to you again soon.
All right, y'all take care.
Well, with that, so now we come to a part of the show that was of huge debate in the production meetings. It's time for the breakdown moment of the week.
You know what the correct moment is, don't you,
I
Jerry?
really do. So, but first, a word from our sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just one man, but I'm the one man band. We're not astray. We're now just where we stand. We'll clean this mess up that you made. Then you'll understand we're a three-man band. We're a three-man band. We're a three-man band.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, your breakdown moment of the night.
Excellent.
Yeah. I mean, how do you?
Excellent.
I mean, how do you pick?
We've done that twice now.
We've had to. The last breakdown. Now this. I mean, what do you pick? Rapture New Road doing that corkscrew onto Gavin Blackwell on the ladder. The dominance of Satyrus over Henry Colt, anything, Citra King cashing in his Money in the Bank. I mean, there's just, Kane coming out at the end of the trios. There was so much that happens, and it
does a disservice to try and put one above the other.
Yeah,
at this point.
It's how do I say one of these was the moment over another. It was from top to bottom a top-notch pay-per-view. I'm sure the brass are ecstatic over the promos. I hear the buy rates were through the roof. So yeah, it's what it is. So now it's time, and I know we have some people waiting to come on. We'll get to you after the break, but first. It's time for the call-out. Joe Mojo, after his break, got right back on. And, to credit to our intrepid reporter, when he smells a story, he is right on it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the call-out with Joe Mojo interviewing Tiki the Troll.
Thank you, Firing Line, and welcome back to the Call Out. My name is Joe, back from, apparently, vacation. After Breakdown 6, ooh, boy, do I have a very special guest for you. For my next guest, after 15 months, he is one half of the Troll Train. He is Tiki the Troll. Tiki, at long last, thank you for joining us.
I am risen. I am risen indeed on Easter Sunday from with the grave. Then, that was clunky, but I'm a year in practice. Hey, everybody.
You are fine. For those who have never heard of you before, what can you tell us about yourself?
Oh, yeah. I believe it goes something like, I'm the toll-taking fairy, top bridge security, trespass, crushing quickly, tough, troublesome, tricky, Tiki the Troll!
And before coming into the Nexus, what were you doing?
Well, doing my traditional duty of maintaining a bridge. Oh, and Tatiana back home is more than a bit miffed I took a nap for so long. Oh, it's also where I would stream from. Of course, you might have noticed that the streams disappeared in 2020 for obvious reasons.
Is that who I think it is?
Well, that's a silly question. Of course she's a bear person who I left alone to tend the bridge with only our horny on main halfling friend to keep her company. Who else would she be? Hi, Hammy.
Okay. Thought it was something else? Disastrous, even. How did you come to tend to this bridge? Does it hold some sort of important position?
Built it, and I guess? I mean, it helps people get from point A to point B. They sometimes try to skip the toll, but hey, where do you think I got these moves from? Also, very few people tend to say no to a grumpy 8-foot-tall bear.
You know, that's fair. That's very fair, especially with what we have around here on Flashbang alone. Excuse me. Brad, we have to make sure that Nero Mizuki never hear this one. So, how does one get from your bridge to the Nexus?
Well, I've had some buddies working on the show and heard there was an opening for some roadie work and thought, might be a nice change of pace for a while. Then I was all, you know what, screw it. I know how to put on a show, and so stepped into, and won, that 8-man showcase match.
It was amazing, though. We've only had a handful of people win a showcase match on their first night. And then you showed up to the 64-man tournament and beat Gorm before he got shipped off to Warzone with Wilson, son of Will.
Oh yeah, Borm! Man, he could never catch a break when Johan and or I was in the ring, could he? And Wilbur. Man, it was great to see him Sunday night, just as I remember. Strutting, sweaty, getting his face mashed on the canvas by better performers. Oh, classic Wallace.
Yeah, classic Wilson. So, speaking of Johan, how did you two form the Troll Train?
Well, it all started when he pressed my face into his armpit, slammed me to the floor, and pinned me out of a match. Twice. As it turns out, Joe, you can learn a lot about a burly, sweaty man from his armpits. And so I came up to him with a proposal. He's a Norse demigod. I'm the descendant of Norse Fae. He's big and strong. I'm tall and lanky. He needed something to help stand out from the other big hoss types, while I needed someone to peel me off the mat sometimes. It was perfect. Plus, I think he was swayed by the whole rhymey-wimey poetry thing. I was even able to convince him that alliteration just makes everything better. Besides, he hits like a train, which I can say as an expert in the getting hit by Johan field.
Yeah, I personally don't want to be in that club, no offense. He looks like he could take me out of commission for about 2 weeks. But to let the people who are not familiar know, with your tag team debut at Breakdown 1, you both had great chemistry in the tag team division. Johan wearing down the opponents and you coming in with those devastating submission moves, even winning a shot at the tag team titles. Unfortunately, resulting in a no contest because of Dark Lord Prenny.
Yeah, we never got a second shot at that either, despite that, being wholly out of our control. Isn't there some new guy, though, Lawyer Sin, I can talk to about that? But anyway, I did hear about Prinny. Turns out it's much easier to bury a Dark Lord for good than a troll.
Well, to be fair, there are not a lot of people wanting Prinny back, unlike yourself. How does it feel knowing that the man who brought you back to the land of the living was also the one who buried Prinny 6 feet under?
A little surprised at first it was Graven of all people, but over time, Joe, it makes a lot of sense. A guy with Grave in his name, a zombie boy, was the one to break the Fey Pact. And I wouldn't be surprised if it has anything to do with his destruction of Prinny too. The guy who thought it would be fun to put me through 2 tables after my coffee got the Trollbane treatment. Fey Pacts do like their ironies.
Yeah, at Breakdown 2, you got poisoned by the Earl King, effectively taking out your regeneration, and then Earl attacking Johan, taking him out of the match, leaving Prinny to face you. I will say this because I have no idea if he mentioned it. Johan didn't smile once after that. I mean, the only time he smiled was when Taigiri was employed by Flashbang and right after Breakdown 5 with his match with Helix Sucks.
Hey, yeah! It was nice to finally get to meet her, even if the employment situation is kinda awkward right now. But yeah, I did try to let him know it was all gonna be okay eventually. But I know the whole Faye stuff is weird to people who, didn't grow up with it. And yeah, I might have been conked out a little longer than expected. But yeah, if you look back, I think there was some leaked footage that was posted on a Discord somewhere. Me talking to a doctor, knowing what was likely to happen. I mean, come on. I've known Earl King a while. I knew something was up as soon as he managed to beat me like he did that one time.
Going back to current events, how cathartic was it to have a front row seat to Earl King West losing his title on Sunday?
Yeah, that felt almost as good as seeing the true King at Wintu get the pin. I actually owe a lot to Citric. I think it's fair to say I wouldn't even be in MNW and looking as good as I do if not for that juicy lad.
Is Citric Kane someone you look up to? Both of your styles are somewhat similar, albeit Citric kind of goes for the arms, and if I recall correctly, you specialize in trapping the legs.
Well, you can't walk away from a toll if you can't walk. But yeah, let's just say I've rubbed elbows with more than one monarch in my day.
With Multivania only 3 months away, and you back on the Flashbang roster ready and able, what is next for Tiki the Troll?
Oh, Joe, buddy, I can't give away the fun bits just yet. There won't be any fun for the audience if I play spoiler already. But I will say, yeah, I've been asleep a long time, but I'm a Fae boy. I've still been very, very busy in Dreamland. And I showed up last night to start Earl King down the road to losing his title.
Well, then we are running out of time right now. With all of this being said and done, as we are winding down here, is there anything that you would like to tell the Firing Line audience?
Just let them know that the time has finally come for some A-class trolling to roll down the tracks of MNW.
I would like to thank my guests for joining us, and if you would like to see what happens when you don't pay the toll, please tune in to twitch.tv/EverttBosco for Friday Night Flashbang, Fridays at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. This has been Joe, signing out.
And there we go. That is Tiki the Troll being interviewed by our own Joe Mojo. And now, on the phone, we have his partner in Toll Train. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Son of Thunder, Johan Mjoln.
Freedom! Finally!
So, Johan, I think it's fair to say that the heathen days are behind you and the thunder rolls again?
Jerry, 9 months. 9 months of dealing with ego, usurping, 9 months of secrecy. I could not tell a soul that I was forced to join the Empire to heal my friend. I couldn't even look my daughter in the eye. I had to come home, stare at her, 13 years of age, and I couldn't. She would ask me why. I was forced to not say a word. For 9 months, I kept putting up with humiliation, losing all but my pride, being branded a heathen to the multiverse. But that look, her look, almost broke me. Graven, Kathgina, we've had our differences in the past, but I thank you from the bottom of my heart, from my family. A Cascavale is coming to the both of you. But now, Tiki has returned, which means the Empire is a part of our past. For those who are new around here, listening to the YouTube, whatever it's called, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Johan Mjoln, the Son of Thunder! God, it feels good to say that again. The train is back on its tracks. We are heading straight into Multivania. The tag division, you are officially on notice. Pay the toll, or we will roll like thunder.
Eric, anything you want to ask Johan now that he's here and back on form?
Hi, buddy.
son of Generic.
No, my dad's name isn't. Anyway, yeah. You said the tag division is on notice. Is that your goal with Tiki, or perhaps a trios title run with your wife? I mean, have you given any thought to maybe putting the whole team together? Or
thought hasn't really come across because I don't know. The missus has something bigger in mind. Something for herself, and I believe that after everything that she's dealt with Earl King's comments, she's owed that at least. Besides, Tiki and I spent 15 months away. We need some time to catch up. Get the old magic working.
And Johan, just real quick, tweeting out, and this is apparently to you, tweeting on social media, Graven, hell yeah.
Couldn't have done it without you.
And also, we've got on social media from the Omni Geek, hashtag Earl King got trolled. And from Kathgina, there is going to be war tomorrow. The screams from the Hislands have been loud. Yeah, that's so apparently this may have been a galvanizing moment. So there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, Johan Mjoln, the son of thunder once more. Oh, and all right, that's all we have. Thank you very much, Johan. All right, and how you doing there, Eric?
It's been a roller coaster of a couple days.
Yeah, I imagine it is. So we've been teasing all through the coverage that there was a lot to talk about once we got to the wrap up. Well, here we are.
Yeah, and I think he brought it up right there. The tag division is on notice. We were talking about teams that have never faced the Bone Warriors. How about the Troll Train as a team?
Yeah. Love to see it.
The one thing a tag team has never thrown at the Bone Warriors is submissions. Suicide Gemini was the first person that I can remember, outside of maybe Joseph Cowman, that was any kind of a submission wrestler. And much like Cowman, Tiki the Troll not only has the figure 4 leg lock, but also the Troll Toll and the Calf Crusher. He is the epitome of a submission wrestler. When he was still active, would consistently tap people out with both of those submission maneuvers. I mean, I'm fascinated to watch Johan and Burden square off and to see Spike and Tiki square off. I don't think it's a good matchup for the Bone Warriors, and I think with them as part of the tag team division now, my only question is, will they want the Bone Warriors more than they'll want revenge on the Empire? That's my only question. And if so, there's another team that hasn't fought the Bone Warriors, the Abyssal Void. And could you imagine Cleaver and V versus Tiki and Johan?
I'd pay to see that match. I mean, I get to see it for free because I work for the company, but still.
I mean, it's crazy.
There's so much now. I mean, there's an entire generation, in a way, of Flashbang fans who have never seen Tiki in action. Tiki was already on the shelf by the time really that Firing Line even started covering the show. He was always mentioned here. This is the first time he has appeared in any form on our program. There's a lot of people have to be reintroduced, and why people kept hashtags about him going 15 months after he was last seen. It's so this is going to be quite the awakening. But you also said you want to do some follow up on the Lady Kathgina situation.
Well, yeah, and we know now that's. I mean, we don't have official confirmation, but I think it's pretty much etched in stone. Graven talked to Lady Kathgina about curing Tiki, the only other Fae on the roster. And what a turnaround it is for the Chocolate Zombie. My question for Graven, and I hope we get this clarification tomorrow, what price did he pay to get that cure?
Well, we may have it. Hang on a second. I'm being told by by Phyllis. Maybe we got a moment here, ladies and gentlemen. On the phone now, the chocolate zombie Graven.
Oh, hey guys, it's pretty good to be back.
Well, welcome back to Friday nights, and I guess to Breakdown. How are you feeling?
I guess the shock hasn't really hit me yet, but no, I'm feeling proud, and I just dating all the way back to Multivania. I made a promise that whether or not Johan heard it himself, but I told him I would find some way to fix this, and it took a while. It took a long time, and certainly there was something that I had to. There was a trade-off that I had to make in order for this to happen, but you know, it feels good.
Well, I think I think I speak for the entire multiverse when saying thank you for getting this job done. A great injustice has been correct.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I'd say that it's just another opportunity to screw Wes out of something, but really, I did it because I felt like it was the right thing to do. And I know that sounds really weird coming from me, but it was something that needed to be done.
All right. Well, Graven, thank you. Eric, anything else you got for the chocolate zombie?
Now that you have taken care of Tiki, is your attention squarely on the Empire of Terror, or do you have a different focus now that you've kind of stuck it to Earl King?
You know, now that I'm thinking about it, there's really nothing that's motivating me right now to really want to go after Wes. I mean, there's no interdimensional title. He got his just desserts with Citric. I think right now, the only focus that I have is putting gold around this waist. And Nero's at the top of my list now.
You're throwing your name into the world title picture.
Yeah. I mean, Final Four for the inaugural championship.
And never an opportunity since then. I can't argue with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it feels weird that it's been so long since that initial opportunity, and my name's never been called again for the world title. My name was called for the inaugural interdimensional championship, but I've never had an opportunity at the World Heavyweight Championship ever since the inaugural 64-man tournament.
You've never had a one-on-one title match.
No. And I've never fought against, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never fought against Nero either one-on-one.
Never. Not that I can recall. We'll have to check the stats, but no.
Well, hey.
Well, nearly 1 year ago to the day, or we're a couple months away, rather, but nearly 1 year ago, you buried Prinny alive. Wouldn't it be something if in Multivania, it's the chocolate zombie that puts the one in the lost column of Nero? Graven, thank you for joining us on Firing Line.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Graven. All right. And with that, Eric, as we're wrapping up for the night, anything else you want to, any previews you know about tomorrow night?
Well, we already had Doom issue an open challenge. We'll have to see who responds to that and whether or not that transpires, or whether or not we're going to have some contendership matches. All I can say is you're going to want to tune in because there is going to be fallout. The interdimensional title is gone. The trios title is here. And the first step on the road of Multivania begins tomorrow night on Friday Night Flashbang with my co-commentator, Mr. Rabbit.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully we're going to hear more about the status of his suspension as general manager.
That's certainly my hope. And boy, howdy, wouldn't it be something if that culminated in Multivania as well?
It's true. All right. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for MNW Firing Line. On behalf of Pete McPherson and Eric Genericson, I'm Jerry Aldini. See you in the Nexus. And now we're above game. Yay!
We made it.
Oh boy, it's been a long. So, I'm going to tell people, obviously we're out of character now, but people want to be jumping into the voice chat. We may bring you. We're going to talk about stuff still, so it's now community talk. So, I think this is a question that a lot of people want to ask. Have you rested this week?
Huh?
That's what I thought.
I haven't recorded any matches.
There we go. That's something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know you have like a day job, so it's.
I know, right?
Oh boy. Okay, so I mean, I wasn't kidding. Was like, well, how the hell am I? It's funny. You're the one that told me you're going to have to Rod Van Dam this one again.
And then the more you thought about it, you're like, shit, he's right.
I honestly, because I wasn't kidding in voice, because now in the voice chat, everyone will be like, hey, there's the moment of the week. And as soon as Rapture hit that move, it was like, hey, there's the moment of the week. And then another, and then another. And somebody finally said, how are you going to pick? I'm like, I'm not talking to you people anymore. Anyway. So yeah, anything you want, any behind the scenes peeks you want to give on what went down?
That 8-man match was a fucking nightmare.
Which 8-man match? I think there was more.
The tag match, the DeLuna match was a fucking nightmare. There were so many edits. Oh my god. Yeah, no, that's, if you want to pull back the curtain, fuck 8-man matches. And I knew it was going to be a problem the second I booked it. To the point where I was like, hey, Arkov, I want to book this match. Do you think we can get it done? Maybe. All right. We'll give it a shot.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. And yet you pulled it off.
Yeah, it was tight.
I don't know if I ever asked that, and I suppose this is also, hey, who's your favorite child? But what was your favorite match out of this? What were you really proud of your work on?
Oh boy. That's such a hard question.
Yeah,
I'm really proud of the main event.
Okay. I'm going to give you... Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm going to give you the swerve. I mean, there's always you're going after the smart marks, which is often me and Phil.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, he's one of them.
But
when I get him, like with the trios, when I made him just not talk until the end of the show, that felt good. Because I didn't know, I thought he was playing me. Like he was like, oh, VIP is going to win. Oh, VIP is going to win. Like, but he legitimately believed it with how shocked he was.
But yeah, the Tiki swerve was, I mean, you had two masterful swerve. I won't say this, and this is not me, because the folks in the house might not know, but Ed knows I'm not really one to blow smoke anywhere. But really, between the Tiki swerve and then the, oh my god, of course it makes sense, there's Citric King.
Yep.
That was great.
Yep.
So no, I think you're right to, obviously you're not, a lot of story needed to be serviced this time. And because we had this discussion that behind the scenes after the last show, you were asking me, okay, what do you really think? And I was giving you my theories, and I try not to do too much because, a really well-guessed theory can be a spoiler. But I mean, how much, all right, let me ask it this way. How much of Multivania do you already know in your head?
Most of my main matches are set.
Okay.
To the point where I'm going to try stuff that is so game breaking I might need 3 months to even see if it'll work before I announce it.
All right.
Because like I don't know if whatever the bar was for Breakdown 5, I don't know if I surpassed it on 6. I didn't do all the crazy edits. I didn't have commentary from different regions of the world. But story-wise, I felt this was as strong or stronger than any other pay-per-view I've done. And I knew the ending was going to be banger. It's why I put the Jack Andrews thing at the beginning. It's why the interdimensional title match was last, because nothing could go on after that. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew the trios titles were a huge fucking... I almost wanted the trios titles back-to-back with the interdimensional, but you needed a break. And I don't want to say the world title was the break match, but it was no interference, no craziness, no nothing, just a straight-up good wrestling match. And that was the perfect spot for it. But that trios match, man, fuck. The only thing I would have done differently about that is I wouldn't have had the interference. That was part of my agreement with Kurt. He wanted Legion to be the reason they got screwed.
Oh, okay.
If it was up to me, Mad Jack would have just kicked the shit out of Wilson in a great match. And I had an edit in mind, but that was the thing that Kurt wanted. I was okay with it. I acquiesced. And I made it Kane because he wanted it to be Legion, because at least Kane has history with Mad Jack and Zericus, as opposed to Louis McDonald and Trice, who have never been on the show.
Right. Yeah. So
yeah,
that was the old plain story. No, it was great. I had a thought, and it just kind of. Well, real quick, let me do this. Thanks to Scotty Knows Best for the resub at 10 months. Also, thanks to Citra King for gifting a tier 1 sub to Tiki the Troll, and thanks to Tiki the Troll for the follow. And hey, Tiki. Now this is just me speaking. Ed can make his own comments, but more audio promos, right?
I mean, I bullied him into this one, so duh.
Yeah, no, because that was great. I mean, I remember listening to it.
I don't know what I'm doing. Well, you figured it out.
Yeah, no, and that's that's a perfect character for Tiki. That's great, and it's let's see what comes next. Although I'm gonna say, every week it's what am I gonna pick for audio promo of the week? Sometimes I have to go, this was good. This was good. This week it was like, there's no question. I'm sorry, Suicide Gemini did a great job. But this brings up the thing. We had a lot of video this week from people. We got the culmination of the Jack Andrews stuff, obviously.
Right.
Can we talk about that Phil promo?
That's where I want to get to.
There were a couple people, like even Zaka was like, "Hey, dude, great work on the Doom promo. That was insane." I'm like, "You're right. You should let Phil know."
Yeah.
He was like, "What? Phil did that?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I forget if I asked him, because I asked, "Hey, what was this?" He said, "No, I made it." And I was like, "Really?" And I think I'm okay. I may have to double check. I could swear he told me he drew it. I could be wrong. I mean, I'll recheck with him later, next time he and I talk. But but either way, I mean, he certainly edited it. And I was looking at it's like, because I've been saying for a while, okay, people are going to start edging into video stuff next, now that the audio promo has taken off.
Mm-hmm.
And I always felt one of the reasons I showed the Henry Colt commercial again tonight, besides the fact I felt it was thematically appropriate. And last time that played originally on the last breakdown. So I was like, okay, it's a breakdown commercial, great. But it also, I remember telling Ruffian that's, I think you're kicking off the next level of what people are going to be doing with video stuff. And then you see the stuff that Twitch, that Jack Andrews has been doing to build.
Yeah, he's just been building videos for weeks, and I'm like, geez, and he cranked them out weekly. Like, that's the thing.
So now here's because this is, and I'm curious where it's going to go. But as a reminder to the audience, Twitch the person, who is Jack Andrews' player, is a real life wrestler. But unlike Scott, unlike Hardluck, Jack Andrews was an original creation and did not mirror his in-ring character. But knowing, because he and I have talked, knowing what his in-ring character is, I have a feeling that's about to change. Or at least get a little closer.
At least a little bit.
Yeah. But especially because those were, he did a great job. That one live call-in he did here with us, he's really been playing that up, and I think doing a great job of it. So there was that. But yeah, that, and obviously Phil had to rope you in.
Mm-hmm.
I
was happy to do it because it wasn't originally supposed to be a video. It was going to be just an audio thing. And then he was like, so you know that thing I had you record? I'm going to do it to video. Because if I knew what he was going to do, even conceptually, I probably would have recorded the lines a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
But he made it work. It was phenomenal. The one thing I'll say about that promo, the original line was just supposed to be, isn't it ironic? And then it went on. And I'm the one that put in all the fucking lyrics. So I don't know if you caught the reference. But if you did, that was me.
I'm old enough. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I'm old.
Because as soon as he said it to me, like, isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Oh, I have to do it.
Yeah.
And I said it to him. I'm like, look, if you hate it, don't use it. And he's like, no, I did hate that. And I also love it. So it's going in.
But I mean, so
I can't just let Phil write everything.
No, that's fair. But we had,
That doesn't mean it was good though.
Well, then you had Super Saiyan doing the Zerika stuff, and then getting Travis as the promo voice for Michael. Although I think Hartley himself has been doing when we've had him on here,
he does it. Yeah,
I think he's been doing a fairly good job of it. So I think all three of them, you and the boys.
No, Phil's been doing a great job.
No, Phil, yeah,
boys.
No, it's coming together. Yeah, but Phil's
He's
writing.
my ghostwriter. I don't cut any promos live on Flashbang. I just read what he sends me.
Yeah, so that's good stuff that's been going on there, and it helps bring the whole game up, especially when it's like stuff you don't have to be actually responsible for doing. The community is, that's what I love. The community's coming together and really putting stuff together. And then I got that just like day before yesterday, I got a DM from Actual Human Will saying, I got something for you. And he handed me that phone call thing. And I was like, oh, this is great. It's like, especially because he did it as an actual phone call that hung up. It's like, I know exactly where that's going. So yeah, I love when people bring the game up like that. Oh, okay. So from Joe, I don't want to mention because of IRL stuff. I asked a huge favor of Travis. He edited this week's call out. Caliban Tim Tuesday is when the meeting is, by the way. All right, cool. Yeah, and always, we do have this community and people that really step up. I mean, Travis is one. We give Travis a lot of grief because of the goofy stuff he does, but he's actually been really there for the community. Canada has been really doing stuff out there for people. Our promo teacher team has been working really hard with people. It's, we've got some great stuff going on.
Absolutely.
So, and guys, if you, like I said, if people are, I know we got some people up top still kind of hanging out in waiting room. Guys, let me know in the chat if you wanted to come in and talk to us just as yourselves.
Yeah, even if it's out of character.
Yeah, but out of, I'm not, at this point, we're past character. So if you want to talk above game, let me know. I can drag you in. Because, we're just covering stuff now.
Real quick though, on the YouTube side of things, apologies folks, but there is a bit of a technical problem with the breakdown video, so it is getting re-uploaded and it will be up later tonight.
Yeah. So sometimes things happen.
Yep.
So anything else? Any other behind the scenes on this show that you wanted to bring up before we go towards the future?
So the DeLuna spot that I was really proud of, where he drops CJ and then goes and flies out to Theron.
Right.
I was so happy that worked because Theron had kicked out of 2 Luna bombs when I didn't want him to, and I was so happy when he finally fucking stayed down for that because it made so much more sense that he had to go all the way up to the top, all the way through. I'm so glad we got the ladder spot to work with Rapture because we were terrified it wouldn't work. We didn't know if that move would go off from the top rope, but it did.
Matrix, it was I uploaded the wrong one, so I had to take it down a second time. So that the notification you got was for a video I've now since taken down, and I'm currently uploading the fix.
Yeah.
It would help if you upload the video that's actually different and not just re-upload the exact same video.
Fair.
Yeah.
But, YouTube, we keep, the YouTube is slowly, the audience is growing. Every week, a few more people
join close to 200 subscribers.
Yeah, just about. I have a new job, and I was telling my coworker about all of this. And when I got, just about me streaming, when I got to MNW, he's like, wait, I need you to explain this to me in detail. And then I said, well, we have a YouTube channel. Give it to me now. All right, I guess he's a wrestling fan. And he's like, I want you to know, at some point in some future document, I am going to subtly reference all of this. So it's like, okay, great. All right, so tomorrow night, you obviously, as Eric gave us a preview of what's going on, and yay, Rabbit's back.
Yep.
Yeah. So okay,
Good to
so
have
that's
him
some
back.
behind the scenes news that I can give you.
All right.
He was supposed to come back over a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
He texted me when he finished all of his Trails of Cold Steel stuff and was like, "Hey, I'm ready to come back. Do you want me to come down on Friday?" And I'm like, "Well, you could, but hear me out on this idea about coming back on Easter Sunday." And he was like, "I'm fucking down." And that gave him time to work with Arkov to come up with a new outfit, because I told him, I'll put you in a match for your comeback and then you come on and do commentary, which it did two things. It let me put him in the showcase match, which, wow, RNG liked him. Fuck yeah. And then number two, it let me shift Matrix to the Get Off the Schneid match as a technicality, which I thought was a better spot for him, because if you come in that high on the card, he already looks like a fucking stud, even though he lost his intro match by putting over Brockheiser. So it let me do everything that I wanted without it being obvious of like, oh, here comes Lionel in the fucking showcase match.
Okay, I have to say this.
Yes.
With Rabbit coming back.
Yes.
And the name of his finishing maneuver.
The Hell's Ride, yeah.
The Hell's Ride. Because the night before I watched The Unexpectables.
Yeah.
And okay, so first off, he did a great job in that. But by that, after watching all of that and then hearing it's the Hell's Ride, it's like, oh, it's hurting my head.
That's why I asked when he got on the booth. I'm like, would you call it more of a joyride?
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that got burned into some part of my cerebellum. But no, it's always, now that he's back. I mean, while he was doing everything, originally he was supposed to appear on a firing line. We had made arrangements for him to come on, and then I think it's around the time Kurt had shifted things, and I had to do. Oh, I remember what it was. There was a night due to technical difficulties, I couldn't put the night he was supposed to go on. My internet just crapped out, and
your internet, like in the whole area, like in your neighborhood, like outage.
Yeah, like my entire service had just gone down, so I couldn't do a show. That was the night he was supposed to be on. He was really understanding, but we just never had a chance. And then he started the playthrough, so I got to get together with him again and figure out a time. I think he's free on Thursday. I'm hoping I can get him on, because I absolutely want Rabbit on here, because I just want see what happens with him on Firing Line. So that's going to be something in the future. Get the whole Rabbit experience. Because it's not like he and I haven't talked before. I needed to get his permission for how he wanted to be credited as the Flashbang co-host for the YouTube videos. And I was surprised he decided to just put my real name on there.
Put my name. It's like, oh, all right.
All right. I remember I was discussing it with Mizuki, and he said, hey, tell me to use his real name. He said, and she's like, what did I said? Well, his initials are this. And she's like, oh yeah, he did give you his real name. It's like, all right. But, I mean, that's a big thing for me. I want people, tell me how you want to be credited.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I'm not just going to throw out.
And Arkov did great on the outfit. It worked really well.
Oh, that outfit looked awesome. I was like, okay, well, he looks like a suit. I mean, that.
I was super confused when he showed it to me, because I'm like, I don't understand. And they're like, anime. All right.
Yep.
All right, sure.
No, it worked. It did work. And it's like,
it makes Rabbit happy, and everybody in the chat's going to get it. I don't have to understand it to let it happen.
Yeah. And then his
lo and behold.
Here's the thing I loved. He then goes off about being off in the cosmos, and it's like, okay, it explains the outfit and also gives a reason why he doesn't know anything that's going on the show right now.
Yeah, it's like he thought this through.
Yeah.
And that's the other reason I'm glad I gave him some time, because he clearly thought of a backstory.
It was, because I was listening to it, it's like, I mean, it's pure Rabbit, but it's gold. Okay, great.
It's perfect. We're such a good team, because I can just continue to play the straight man, and he can be fucking wacky as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay.
And it let me in that hardcore match go, we've seen everything but the wiffle ball bat.
So as doing the commentary, how is it now feel easier because you at least got him to rely on again?
It actually, that one I felt like was a little clunky, because I had to get my feeling for having a second person there, because we talked over each other a lot. And I felt like there were times where I'm so used to filling the air with just like back and forth in terms of like play-by-play that it's weird having the second person there that you have to let talk. And so going forward, and I did this my first episode with Zako, because we both do play-by-play for our own shows. Like we had to figure out, all right, who's going to talk, and I know Zako is more comfortable doing play-by-play, so I had to shift to the color guy, and you have to pick your spots. So it's weird. You have to shift your instincts. I think next week we'll be back in a groove.
Okay. Hang on, there is somebody I'm bringing in here. Hang on a second, because you want this conversation.
Oh dear. Oh no. Oh good. I have something special for them.
I got yanked.
Hey Phil.
Hi.
Hello.
What can we do for you, you filthy casual?
Wait a minute. Filthy Casual is on the show. Phil?
Yeah?
Just answer me one question. I know you edited it. Did you draw those? Who did the drawings?
I did all the drawings.
That's what I thought.
Okay, I'm angry. You don't get to be that good at everything. Like I'm done.
Well, the drawings were just okay. Like they could be a lot better.
No, they were not just okay. I didn't even know you could draw.
Well, now you know. Surprise!
In the back of my head, I somehow knew that it was fucking him.
I remember him telling me that, and I was like, and then I was second guessing myself, but
yeah. So the way it was, I wrote Mad Jack and Michael Macabre segments. Bosco voiced Mad Jack. Travis voiced Michael Macabre. Super Saiyan did all of his own stuff except for the drawings and editing. So mad credit to him. So like, it wasn't just me. I want to make sure everyone gets proper credit for this whole thing.
well then let's bring Super Saiyan in, because
Oh hi, you've been yanked.
why not? Because he's in my waiting room. I can't.
Yeah.
All right, keep going, Phil.
Well, I don't have a ton to talk about the whole thing. I'm just really happy it synergized really well with the match. Because if you like listen to the promo, a major theme of it is we think Ozzy or Duran's like the top shit, but the two weak links of VIP are the other two guys. And in the match, it worked to prove us wrong, which was really good for them. Because we focus Ozzy, but then Alba and Wilson pretty much mount a comeback against us and prove that they are not the weak links and that they're valuable assets to the team. So even though they lost, I felt they came out really like looking good in that, which I'm really happy about.
It's funny how that works out, right? RNG is so great.
Yeah, did you do that on purpose? Because I
did.
Okay, I thought you would have at least worked on it by the time I posted it, because it was like
So I
Friday
did.
gave it to you.
True story. You just so happened to think the exact same, because my thought was, oh, they know Azir's the biggest threat. I'm going to have them dump him with 3 finishers so he looks good and get rid of him. And I'm going to let Wilson be the last one because he's the biggest joke and he's going to show that, no, he's legit.
That's
that was always
amazing.
my goal.
I love that. That's so perfect.
Yeah. And so when you cut that promo, I'm like, well, he just did all my work for me. I'm done.
Hey,
So you can do a good 1 week build.
Saying you were going to
take notes, Warzone.
Huh? Oh, all I was gonna say was my favorite part of the match was the order everyone went out in, and I always low-key always root for Wilson. So seeing that end where it was Mad Jack and Wilson, I was like, yes!
That was the best matchup. Like, they did all the talking. They did all the feuding back and forth throughout the conversations. That made the most sense. Plus, and this is where I get to embarrass Phil live in front of everybody.
Uh-oh.
The 2 people that I am happiest for at this pay-per-view are Phil and Cetric, by far. And that's not a knock on anybody else that won a title. I'm glad for Super Saiyan. I'm hyped for Hartley because they're all valuable members of the community. But Citric has waited.
And he's hypel.
Huh?
I sing, and you're hypel.
Yeah. Citric has literally waited 5 years to hold a singles title of any kind. He was a tag team champion. He was thrown into a bunch of random ladder matches. He's been thrown into a bunch of title matches that he probably in the back of his head knew he would never win. Whether it was the hardcore title or the world title, he was always the cannon fodder. For a story to be built around him winning a belt and to have it be the climax of such a big story with Tiki coming back, I couldn't have been happier. Likewise with Phil. Phil's been around for about 3 years, probably longer as like a lurker watching stuff, but active for about 3 years as a character. He was an Inquisition lackey. For the longest time, he was just a dude with Night Reaper on Warzone before it was even called Warzone. He was in a bunch of various trios and tag title or tournaments. He's had opportunities at the tag titles that he didn't win or the tournaments that he didn't win. And it was just nice to finally reward people who have been such amazing contributors, saying you included in this category. with big wins that made sense, and not just here's a belt because we feel like you deserve a belt. Here's a belt off of a story that we built around you because one, you guys deserve it, and two, it was the best story. So I couldn't be happier for you two guys in particular, but also for you, Sane, and for Hartley, because all of you guys are super crazy active and have done a lot of work for the community, either as mods, as active participants, or as artists and creating content, which you and Citric have, Phil, and saying you've cut promos and Hartley writing stuff. It's just great. It felt really, really good. But Phil and Citric, I'm really, really glad got to shine and had moments in this pay-per-view.
So I want to say, just for context, I have been watching MNW since pre the Inquisition.
Well, there you go. So you've been around.
Yeah, never in my life did I actually think I would A, have a character, and B, hold a title. So when we won, I was over the moon, and I was just like, wow.
I was not expecting to win tonight, but I was really happy when it happened.
But that made it better. If you saw it coming, I would have been like, okay, that's still cool. But like your genuine shock and awe was what made it. Because I thought, like I said earlier, I thought you were pulling my leg. I thought like in the back of your head, I was like, oh, he's going to put the belts on us. Duh. He wouldn't do all this work for us to lose. Honestly, the biggest blessing for this story was honestly everything that went down around the Rumble. Because I think most people were like, well, there's no way the Trios belts are going to Flashbang after what happened.
Right.
And it all got worked out behind the scenes, and the plan never changed. The plan was always Doom is getting the Trios titles. It's just a matter of how. And Faction Warfare was my idea of how to do it. And Kurt and I worked together to put that together, and we stayed the course.
Honestly, that was one of the first instances for me, because as many of you know, I've now kind of gotten more involved in a lot of stuff that goes on.
Yeah, you're helping him produce stuff.
This was one of the first things that I knew that I had to keep to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
I wasn't happy about
like
it, but since half of his team was involved, you knew.
Well, and like he said, I was listening to everybody be like, nah, I mean, there's no way the titles are going to go over to Flashbang. I mean, something's going to happen. And I was just like, yeah.
Something's going to happen, but it's going to go the other way.
I was like, I ain't seen shit. But then that's why, like, after it happened in the voice chat, I remember saying that was the funnest thing that I had to keep secret. Like, I loved the fact that I was just sitting there like, oh, God. When they find out, I'm super
stoked because now on Flashbang we have so many trios that deserve opportunities. They can focus on being trios, and it's going to let me feature the whole reason trios titles became a thing in various promotions, whether it's New Japan or AAA or even Lucha Underground, was so you could feature more people. It was a title with 3 guys, and there were 3 challengers, and you could have number 1 contenderships with 6 more guys. It's just a great way to feature people. So I love and I love tag team wrestling. So I love the idea of a trios title. Because of the faction warfare going on Warzone, I was able to talk Kurt into being like, hey, Meme doesn't have a lot of challengers right now. So I'm not saying that Doom needs to take it off of Meme, but some team on Flashbang should get these belts while you're doing your faction warfare, because you don't like putting the belts in a story where the belts aren't the focus. So they're not going to get utilized enough. Let me book them until you're done with faction warfare. And he was like, I'm cool with that.
Because I mean, you were even saying we even just went a brief overview of the potential trios challengers on Flashbang.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
speaking of the devil, we have the other trios champ, Michael Macabre. Hartley is in the chat.
Yep.
Hello, Hartley.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I didn't know I was going to get pulled in as quickly as I was.
I was on top of it, and this is the appropriate segment.
Yeah,
but yeah, I adore what you guys have done. You have leaped headfirst into your characters, especially like you saying are the example I give when I talk about adoptions, like you and Phoenix.
So in Wilson's, I think, first promo about this all, where he was saying Magic's Pumpkin Magic and Michael's Fangirls, he ignored me, and I'm like, huh. And that's not a knock on me. It's more like there's a lot more I could do with this character to make him establish himself more. And I thought we were going to lose, and I was going to ask you for a singles run a bit to kind of establish the Nightmare more. But now I'm like, I don't need that. I am just as good as I am now. I just got to keep doing what I'm doing.
I'll be honest though. I like the fact that we're emphasizing what Genericson is more, and I love that the Nightmare Demon thing fits in with the Night Reaper name.
Oh,
he sent me a whole backstory. Like he as soon as he adopted the character, he and Phil worked on some like what Night Reaper really is stuff because he wasn't fully fleshed out. And I loved it. And I was like, yep, this is good. Go with it. And
that was all him. He wrote the entire thing.
I just got it by Phil, and I was like, yay.
But I love it because it's kind of got elements of what you do with Storyteller, but like, because he's like Tales from the Crypt kind of thing. And that's what I like about Macabre and Genericson is they're very intellectual creepy, whereas Majak is just pure chaos. So they're just these different shades of creep.
One thing, and I wanted this future voice one was I want the Night Reaper's voice. The voice I was going for was deep but elegant. You can hear
which I like. I liked it a lot. Like I don't know how many promos you've cut vocally, but don't stop doing them. Just keep practicing because like I like it.
It's just a matter of when I'm able to, because now of course we've got the open challenge tomorrow, which yay. That's gonna be exciting. And then from there, I'm probably gonna keep cutting them every week, every time I'm able to.
I wouldn't. Well, careful. I wouldn't go every week.
Every time I said every time.
Every time there's something appropriate. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, remember what we say about promos? They're like mini skirts, short enough to keep your interest, but long enough to cover the subject.
Exactly.
The idea I always had was Genericson never really cuts a promo unless he has to, like unless you've got, of course, this where you have the video or you've got an event like specifically a title defense something, but from here on it's like title defenses and specific events is when Genericson will step in and say something. Because Majak and I guess really Michael too, they're the best way to describe it, they're the PR people for Doom. They're the faces.
Yeah. Another person I'll shout out for adoptions is Trees, who I think is like the guy who went from I'm just here to watch to, but do you want a Minotaur? Okay. And then I was like, oh, we have 2 Minotaurs. Can we switch you? And he was like, no, I kind of like my Minotaur. I don't want to. So he's like, I'm attached.
I like my Minotaur.
I can't. This is my boy. I can't.
Now he's on the
I've created a monster because now he's role playing in every chat. And I love it. It's great.
We got Citric talking about how he thinks Night Reaper and Convict are the two best.
Those are two. Yeah, those are two more. Yeah. Like Trees, Convict, Night Reaper. Like those are all people that adopted characters and ran with them. Like Hightower is a character now because Mighty adopted them. Likewise with Genericson, he's flushed out and has a championship around his waist, much like now Chained Hell does. Because somebody adopted him and flushed him out, which is great. And I have no doubt at some point in the future, Satiris is probably going to have a belt too.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a little love at Scotty Knows Best for Blight as well. He's done a pretty good job.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. I always
in general.
So here's the problem. Scotty fits Blight so well, I forget that he's not the original owner.
Yeah. I actually am that way too. Well, he came to us as a werewolf enthusiast. I think that's part of it.
Yeah, and I was like, well, this just fits. And at first, people were like, hey, be careful. He just got here. He's Simon's friend. Let's see if he actually wants to stick around. And he did. And then he adopted the character. And now he role plays them every freaking week that he can. And I love it.
Yeah.
I talk to the man almost every day. And it's like, holy crap. And you're this big, fierce werewolf on MNW.
Yep. Oh, the joys of the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Since we're on the topic of adoptions, you still only have, I think it was Reginald is the last one.
I think he's the last one, yeah.
Okay.
So I know at some point in the future, I know Dark Wolf, who's in the chat as well, had talked about that. I'm going to try to do a creation stream at some point, maybe over the weekend. We'll see. I might do one before the Prince Division on Saturday if there's nothing conflicting in that time slot. We'll see what happens.
I think Kurt's actually.
But that's my early plan is to do a creation stream, see if anybody wants to adopt Reginald. Do some house cleaning. I might have a character or two that's left that because people adopted stuff. I didn't debut them and now I don't see them anymore. So we'll see what happens. I might have a robot or two.
All right. I think Warzone is coming back this weekend though.
Warzone is coming back. My knowledge is it's going to be a not a breakdown event, a Starship event. Battlegrounds. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of that stuff. So if you're in the Battlegrounds, definitely show up. You'll want to do that. It's kind of something that Kirk can do that's going to be all RNG because that's what Battlegrounds is. And then a week from this Saturday, Warzone proper will come back. Kirk just wanted to make sure that the Battlegrounds moved along a little bit more. So he wanted to dedicate a show to people being able to bet chips and do matches.
Okay. Cool. Travis, you dropped out of. You want to come back in, or I guess he's gone.
He's doing his thing.
All right. So we got a couple more people I want to cycle in. So guys, thank you.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Catch you.
Yeah.
No problem.
Oh no! Don't bring in Max.
Yep.
Don't bring in Travis. Anybody but Travis. Mizuki again, maybe.
Mizuki. I'm going to bring in Joe and Mizuki.
Okay, I'm down with that. Yeah.
No, I yelled. I got to bring Travis. I yelled to bring him in.
Okay, good. No, you lied to me.
I didn't lie. I told you I was doing. You just weren't listening to me.
I know you lied to me.
Son of a bitch. All right, hey guys.
Yo.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello there.
And Travis, we do give you grief all the time. It's just with affection.
Yes,
you guys,
affection.
It kind of just slides off me.
That too. Yeah, you see, it's not that we don't give you grief; it's that you don't recognize it.
Special mutant.
Go ahead.
Let's say it's my special mutant power. I am too oblivious for insults.
No, that's true.
So, since we were giving praise on that Doom promo, I mean, you got a little piece of that. You were voicing Michael. How many characters are you voicing now, Travis?
Too many. Oh, sorry, that was to him.
No, that's you.
After Michael Macabre, I think it's now 9. But again, like I'm also trying to step away from characters who want to voice their own characters. Like as soon as Scotty was like, I want to do my own, I'm like, yep, take it, go do your thing.
And honestly, I honestly think Hartley can do when he's on here with us in character. I think he's fine. So I think Hartley can pick up.
Funny you mentioned that. I actually am going to go right up to the top here, and I think right in the first year, and I said, I'm happy to help, but I would like you to do your own voice if you would like. And then we talked about it. So I still put that behind. I still think he should be doing the voice. He wanted me to do it. I'm willing to help out, but I think you're right. I think he should be doing the voice. He's a good man.
All right. So there's that. And then I don't know. I'm still I love, here's the thing about Max. I'm going to take this from it, and then I want to talk to the other two people. But Max has this whole thing of, he does these crazy things, and then your temptation is to try and talk sense to him. And then it's like, but why? It's not going to go anywhere anyway.
It's kind of like once he gets an idea in his head, it ain't changing unless it's physically like proof in front of his face.
So this is my personal headcanon. You can tell me if I'm crazy, but that whole thing about Max being a pediatrician. I like to believe, because he never says he's Dr. Thunderthighs, but he's a pediatrician. My belief is he's not actually a doctor. He's not actually a pediatrician. He assumes because he works with kids in a hospital that makes him a pediatrician.
Oh, it's 100% correct.
I just, I like to double check these things, but it's like, okay, we're going to go with it. Oh, you're a pediatrician. Right.
He was told by one of the kids he's a doctor for kids, and he believes that hard enough. Thank you, dear. So Max is what he believes, and if somebody tells him he's something, he believes it. I don't want to say he's really dumb. He's just very naive.
I am now my brain is trying to imagine a tag team of Maximilian Thunderthighs and Seth Jackson.
No.
Yes.
It doesn't need to
happen. Now you've broken the universe. Excellent.
Yeah,
thanks.
pretty much.
Appreciate it.
You just divided by a 0 there.
I just, I like
divided by dumb.
Oh God, no. So, all right. Well, thanks, Travis. Now, Joe, welcome back. By the way.
Hello.
Hey, so, and I know you said Travis helped you out getting the call out ready this week.
Yeah. Let's just say I had a bunch of real life stuff came up, and that required me to pretty much take half the crap that's in my house right now and shove it outside.
Oh dear.
Yeah. That was a pain.
A tree psychology high five.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, and Mizuki, hey.
Yo.
So, I realized I don't think you and I have talked in a while. We have you in here as the character.
Yeah.
And it's like I remind myself, no, she's not actually a Southern. Well, not that kind of Southern.
By the way, check out her plushies.
I mean, I kind of am. You shut your mouth. You shut your
No,
mouth. No, you're on the
So
list.
if
You're on the list.
you go to my Twitter
Yes.
at Ed Bosco
No.
VA on
Stop.
Twitter, you'll
No.
see I retweeted
No.
her plushie stuff. You guys
they
should
are
definitely
adorable.
go check it out. It was really
Yeah.
cool. I think
I
she
really
made it for
like the
Colonel
Metroid
Shiru.
one.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So definitely check that out. Make sure to like it. If you want to retweet it, go for it. It'd be great. We're trying to spread it around. Every time it gets a like, you make her cringe just a little bit.
I hate that it's already over 1,000 likes.
You're welcome.
Firing Line tonight is brought to you by Mizuki's
Oh my
plushies. Remember, Mizuki plushie, a plush of good joy.
What's your Patreon?
I don't have one.
You're joking,
Do you have a
Mizuki, but
Ko-Fi? Do you have a Lo-Fi?
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
that's okay. Travis will actually do a Mizuki Napier plushie commercial for next week's Firing Line.
Oh God,
I'm
no!
down.
Please no.
It'll be great, and then I can give it to
Oh,
Ed,
good.
and
Dark Wolf retweeted it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, then we can put it on Flashbang.
Future member of Apex, Dark Wolf 920. That's what I said. Ko-Fi, Lo-Fi. I said it was the joke, Citric. Keep up.
That's
I
fine.
mean, but isn't it supposed to be pronounced coffee?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Kofi. Got it. Kofi. Like
that's right. Yeah, exactly.
I hate it.
Ah, yes.
Mira
the
just
Kofi
messaged
Kingston.
me what the number is at right now. He's been
what's
doing
the
this
number
all
at?
day.
What's the number at, Mizuki? Because I can just go check if I really want to.
No.
I could. Yeah, let me all right, if you're gonna make me check, I'll do it the hard way.
Oh, stop, please. No.
Hang on.
I assume upper 1,500.
Let's see. We're gonna find out. This will be great.
Shut up. It's 1,041.
I'm gonna confirm or deny that.
Oh my God.
Let's see.
I think the mistake is somebody needs to put that in the chat.
No.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, fine.
No.
I'll do that really quick. Okay.
So
Give me a moment.
everyone can see
for
it.
That way, everyone can
and then get it to me so I can when I put up the YouTube video I can embed it in there. And by the way,
Ooh, good idea.
Yeah, that's.
I hate you all.
So that's what seething sounds like.
There we go.
That's okay. Tim can fix it.
Yep.
So I just wanted to confirm. So we only know. Do we know anything that's going to happen tomorrow for sure? Is the open challenge the only thing?
That's it. And that got announced on the show. Actual number 1,042 confirmed and 94 retweets. Now it's 1,043.
Huh, I went over. Damn.
Hey, Joe, you can put the Tim gave you permission. You can put the link in now.
Yeah. Well, it timed me up because I posted it 30 seconds prior.
Oh, it's okay. You'll be there in a second.
Okay.
I hate you all.
This is how we. Oh, Ed got it. Never mind.
Well,
I'm all over it.
So there we are.
Of course you are, Mr. Oops. My finger slipped.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see. Somebody's been looking at Nero's DMs.
No, he told me.
Oh, even better.
This is how we show love, folks. This is how we show love.
It's true. Shill love. This is how we shill love.
Shill love. I mean, what's weird? Her Mizuki, your reactions are almost exactly the same as when we do this to Sean.
It's adorable. He's just louder and more obnoxious about it.
Yeah.
Now I've done my part.
That's okay. I'm not saying I'm going to be needing to look for some art commissions here soon, but I might be looking for some art commissions here soon. So,
but in all seriousness, I like the Metroid.
Yeah,
excellent.
Oh, the Metroid was great.
I love the baby.
The Metroid.
I love the baby.
Metroid was
so much.
fantastic. If you guys want to know what we're talking about, click that link.
Samus's legs swivel.
Oh, nice.
They go back and forth.
So I'm gonna be interested to see where this. So looking where the stories sit right now, I'm really looking forward to seeing what's coming next for you guys. Well, except Max, who's more flashbang in spirit.
I'm that one fan that sits outside, like he doesn't have a ticket, but he's watching on his phone.
He's tailgating.
Like, that's exactly what he's hoping to get an autograph.
You're the guy that walks in with the CM Punk sign and his fucking straight edge shirt.
Max
the
has Mizuki's number right now, actually.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she technically would be the coach. I mean,
Yeah.
if we're talking like training, she trains them, and they beat
Yes.
the crap out of me, and then like you got to get
No,
a hold of your coach.
they're not beating the crap out of you. They're training with you.
It certainly feels like it.
That's
but it's effective.
That's right. It's important to be precise about these things. All right. Well, I'm gonna. We're getting near wrap up time, so I'm gonna shoo you lovely people out of here, so we can wrap up the show, and we'll talk to you all tomorrow night or whenever.
Bye, humans.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. All right. With that, well, it's been an evening.
It is.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the Multiverse Nexus Wrestling YouTube channel. If you like this video, go ahead and drop a like, share the video, subscribe to the channel for more, and ring that bell to get notified whenever we post a new video. This has been Joe, signing out.